walking down the road, everybody yelling, hurry up, but I'm waiting for you. I must go slow, I must not think bad thoughts. When is this world coming to? Both sides are right, and both sides murder. I give up, why can't they? I must not think bad thoughts. I must not think bad thoughts. I must not think bad thoughts.
I am going to be monitoring for volume. It's been a minute. I think you're good.
Yeah, see about me. I'll try to be very steady. I'm feeling steady today.
Okay,
so
all right.
we'll see.
Great. Okay. Welcome to Axe to Grind episode. Welcome to Axe to Grind episode 21, the lost episode.
Lost, but we're bringing it back. Tom, do people complain to you about the numbering?
People do complain. Not complain, but they get nervous that they might have missed one.
Okay.
This is not a serial.
Yeah.
You don't, like, if you miss one, it's not like Lost.
okay,
You're not going to be like, wait, man, where the fuck? Why is there a goddamn polar bear on the island? There's nothing to do with it.
It shouldn't be that hard to follow.
And
everybody.
I know that some of y'all are kind of catching up, playing catch up. You can listen to them in order. That's neat. You don't have to. Don't be.
Right,
Don't
we
be
do
sad.
some like time sensitive things, but a lot of stuff is evergreen, as they say in the biz.
And let me tell a quick story for people who do get weird or want to send us an OCD email. Don't send the OCD email.
Or a text message.
When I worked at Rev, I did a small label called Collapse. Revelation distributed it. And because I did it kind of loosey-goosey, they'd be like, what release number is this? And I'm like, I don't know.
30?
They're like, well, bands would ask, what address should we put on this? And I was moving around a lot. I'm like, I don't care. Just make one up.
Yeah.
Just put it, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. So eventually I got upset that Rev was bothering me about it. So I was like, oh, all right. My favorite number's 7. I'm not in the 30s yet, so this is 37. And the next one's 47.
Yeah, just do
and the
it.
next one's 57. And then when we get to the 70s, so they're all wacky numbers, which now I'm like, that was annoying. But don't get wild. We'll start numbering real crazy on you.
Yeah.
Next one will be like 432. You'll be
Yeah.
all fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really just like almost I guess a courtesy or an OCD thing on our part because the numbers don't matter at all.
It's like comic books.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So we might reset after this and do a new launch, episode 1.
Yeah.
Right, or
Kill
just
you
do
guys.
like alphabetical. Like
Right.
this is episode A. This is episode capital A, small A.
Right.
You're gonna go Latin on them, Alpha.
That's it.
Before we go any further, I want to thank our sponsors, Triple B Records. I know. Good friends. TripleBRecords.limitedrun.com. If you enter the promo code,
Axe to Grind. Spell it out.
you can get 10% off your entire order.
We've been hearing a little rumor that many of you are doing this.
Yes.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
And we've also heard that some of our friends, no names necessary, have forgotten. Don't forget the
Dudes
code
from
again.
Western Mass.
Central
Axe to
Mass.
Grind.
Spell it out.
Spell it out. Go buy the new Criminal Instinct record.
New Criminal
That's
Instinct.
right. Do that.
I really like the cover art. And he also has that new 3 Knee Deep for people who want it even heavier.
Did you see? Yeah. Did you see the video
No.
of them playing with Tommy Ski Mask? He takes.
I saw Reserving Dirt Naps.
That's Reserving D Naps.
Oh, that's Reserving Dirt Naps. You're right.
That
Please-
video is
You're right.
awesome.
Please
You're right.
forgive us. Patrick's on about 2 hours sleep because
He flew in from Chicago. So thank you, Patreon, for helping us fly him back. Or otherwise, he'd still be in a van somewhere in
That's all true.
Pennsylvania, probably.
And since we didn't do it, my name's Bob.
I'm Patrick.
And I'm Tom.
And this is Axe to Grind. The general theme is that if we have a problem, personal beef, we announce it. If we've
Which
got
we
that
don't
Axe to
really
Grind.
anymore. People get mad.
Well,
I think
We're
I got
not
a few.
muckrakers,
I think
man.
we might have a few come up at some point in the next 5 or
might.
6 episodes.
Yeah.
So be sure to check out episode 33, 42, 55, and 64 for future Axes to Grind.
Yeah, yeah. I think so in editing the last episode, I realized that I threatened to put somebody in a headlock. So
You did.
I think that technically
That's an
I have
accident, right?
yeah. I think there's
Like just
axes,
a headlock?
There's
No
axes
noogies,
no.
nothing?
I mean, I'm not. Look at me. Just because I've been working on
You've
this
been working
body.
out,
Yeah,
dude.
it's true. So everybody at
He's
home,
feeling himself.
I am. I'm truly feeling myself. So Just did that tour, and every stop we'd do 10 push-ups. That doesn't sound like much, but they were 8-hour drives, and we piss every hour. Yeah. So I did 100 plus push-ups a day, which doesn't sound like much to those of you that are into fitness. But when you got a body as small as mine, it responds to 100 push-ups a day very quick.
He looks like, you ever see American Psycho? Like, you ever see that scene like where Patrick Bateman is having sex with that woman and looking at himself in the mirror and flexing? That's
where he's at.
Okay. I mean. So I am shirtless right now for the people at home, and
shocking.
That's because I'm
Offensive.
feeling myself.
Temperature check.
Offensive.
It's comfortable right now.
Not bad. I'm wearing shorts.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm an old man in shorts.
So we got a lot of. See, I don't like the term housekeeping because when podcasters do that, to me it sounds
like telling people to fuck off.
No. When they go like a little bit of housekeeping, to me it's like that's where I turn off for a minute. I'm like, I don't give a shit about.
No, we're doing some catch up.
Okay.
Yo, you got like a Luther Vandross vibe to your voice right now.
I know.
You're tired.
Good.
Look,
it's like deep. It's a couple. I like it.
It's slow jazz.
So for people at home,
slow jazz.
Bob wasn't kidding. I got off a plane after not sleeping in an airport, after staring at a man's ass at an airport for. Overnight 5 hours.
Let's talk about that man's ass. Was it all right?
It was okay. He was asleep, and I was trying to sleep, and that was just what was directly in front of me.
So you went right from the show
show to the airport.
To man ass.
Yeah, to a man's ass, yes.
Okay, to Midway or to O'Hare?
To O'Hare.
Okay.
Where was the show in Chicago?
The Beat Kitchen.
The Beat Kitchen.
Okay. We're going to dig in on this stuff, the gigs. We're not going to talk too much. Patrick is in a band, if you didn't know.
It's true. We will talk a little bit about it because I just got back from whatever, like how many?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It's a long tour. It felt long.
The drives were. We'll get into it.
So, and it's Father's Day. I'm skipping Father's Day to record.
What a guy. Seriously.
It's just a construct. We don't need that shit.
Yeah.
I still respect,
It's all good. This is our baby too, so
this is true. This is true.
I told my son he's cool today, so that's the reason for the season.
Easton, you're a good kid.
He's the best kid. All right. So yeah, we're gonna catch up with y'all today. Before we get into anything heavy shit, there was, and we're just hitting it right now. This is Sunday. There was a shooting at the Trenton Arts All Night event in Trenton, New Jersey. And 20 injured, 1 dead. I believe the shooter was killed as well. Yeah.
Is he the one, or is he additional?
I don't know.
Jesus.
I don't know. There was a 13-year-old in critical condition, and you might go, "All right, dudes, why are you talking about this?" Other than the fact that we're compassionate human beings, the person who produces this event, who puts it on, is a guy who's a part of the hardcore community. Joe Corgasm, good guy. Hearts are with you. Hearts are with all those people. This shit sucks.
Yeah, and I think that it's look, I've dealt with some sociopath promoters in my life, but none of them want any situation. You know what I mean? And not just for their own safety, but because it's like a terrible thing to feel any, and not that he should feel any accountability for this, but just people do end up feeling that way.
Yeah, I mean, you're the reason why people are
right.
You helped gather these people,
right? So it's entirely possible to feel a way about that. Although I urge him strongly, if he is feeling like that, get some grief counseling, because that's not a way you should feel. But it is possible to feel that way. So he's in our thoughts.
And honestly, the bigger picture thing that I thought about with this is that these kind of events, there was no control. This is, he couldn't really control this. But I worry about our ability to do DIY events, which obviously is a big part of hardcore, punk, all this shit. If things like this were to happen, and obviously there's no control, there's nothing he could have done differently. I guess he could have had more security, but to be honest, that's antithetical to what we're doing, in a way.
Right, and I mean, there's security at places that they go, "Whoops, sorry, man." I'm not like, is he going to throw himself in front of him, or is the security guard going to throw themselves in front of a barrage of bullets?
That's right.
Security is there to take the knife out of your pocket before you enter the spot. It's not, if you put a gun in a security's face, he gets on the ground with his hand over his head.
I hope he does.
Same as anybody else,
Right. I mean, it's just like a show of kind of. It's false sense.
For the moshers, it's not for the shooters.
Yeah.
True. You know what I mean?
So thoughts on that, and if you're not aware of it, take a look at that. Find out what happened.
Take care of each other. Jesus fucking Christ.
Dangerous.
All right. Let's catch up.
Okay.
Well, it's not catching up to the people that are listening. It's only catching up to us.
Well, it's catching up to us, but it's like we haven't seen Patrick for a couple weeks.
No, that's what I mean.
I'm
saying, like,
but they're catching up to us too. Yeah, they didn't know.
Sorry.
A couple weeks ago, while you were gallivanting the country, Tom and I were supporting the scene.
Oh, I made an effort not to on the tour. Go on.
We supported.
Well, I think this was actually competing with you in a couple spots.
Yes.
But we went and saw our friends Ray Capo, John Porcelli play with Shelter. Sammy Sigler, yeah. Left-handed drummer.
The bass player from
76% Uncertain.
Was that who that was?
Yep.
And he played on Quest for Certainty?
Earliest material. Yeah, all the early
And a
stuff.
young devotee.
Who's got a voice that
like an
rocks. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
So and they were good.
They were a lot of fun.
Okay.
Really fun.
So I only heard from one hater.
Let's hear the hater voice.
It was just a hater we know him as a man. He is a born hater, and he was at the self-defense show in Philadelphia. Left to go to the Shelter show, and then came back to the self-defense show. And I said, "Oh, thanks." And he said, "Don't thank me. It just sucked." So
I looked at videos of Philly. Looked like half as interested as New York. New York was fun. We were at the Brooklyn Bazaar show.
Yeah, it's kind of wild though. Like, to me, Shelter was such a thing.
Yeah.
They're really not anymore.
No. I think that it's not the moment that people want to remember them. You know what I mean?
Not, but like, they're such a good band. Those songs are so good.
Oh, absolutely.
They played Long Island, and a buddy of mine was like, "There's maybe 100 kids."
Yeah.
This is a band that used to sell out like Irving Plaza and draw 1,200 kids.
Yep.
And it's gotten down to like 100.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I
those
think
songs are like
they're really good, but I wonder if it feels dated to people now.
I think no question.
Yeah.
Right.
You know how it is.
But Youth Today doesn't sound dated?
No, I mean it does. It sounds terribly dated, but
I think it sounds more dated.
But I think it's like I think that there is a network, a pathway of nostalgia that makes sense for people.
And that's more of a form. Like, it's fast, it's hard. You know what I mean? It's like
there's
very
a whole
traditional.
Scene based around
right.
Yeah.
There's
Shelter.
How many bands do you think sound like Shelter?
Nobody.
Right.
Nobody.
And that is a true thing that, once that's gone. And I mean, to be honest, we talked about Fugazi a few episodes ago. A similar phenomenon in terms of sound. Now, I will say, I think there were a lot more people who were like, Shelter is my favorite band. But no, you know what? Back then, there were probably just as many people who would say Fugazi was.
But you know what?
If
Fugazi plays tomorrow, they're drawing 2,000 kids in a year.
Sure.
But how many people would they draw 15 shows in? 20 shows in
30 New York or in a tour?
On a tour.
On a tour. You know what I mean?
Let's say they do two tours. We know how this goes. If you do two tours,
they draw better than Shelter for sure, but numbers would dwindle.
Oh, I mean, of course, yeah. Comic books and reunion shows, two things with severe attrition.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are just jumping off that shit.
That's why production goes down.
Yeah.
But that was a cool show.
They're very good.
Yeah.
Good crowd. I
Good
think
crowd.
they did like 300, 400 kids.
I was hoping to finish my show early enough to go to it. I fucking love Shelter.
Only
good set list.
Played material up to including Mantra, and that was it.
I mean, what else? Why go any further?
Why go further?
Yeah.
Lots of quests.
Yeah.
Lots of quests.
That's cool.
Which was really cool.
Yeah.
Capo said cool shit, man. And
he looked like he was having fun.
His kids were
Genuine.
there. So there was a little weird, like there was a little bit of that old person element. A lot of bad old man stage diving.
Yeah, or a lot of like, hey, my kid wants to get their first stage dive in.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah,
I think that's funny if you like launch the kid yourself.
He didn't.
Oh, no.
No, he had because his kids were both nervous. So shout outs to Ray. I brought up having him come on. He seemed gracious about it. We've emailed before. I think we could have a really good New Yorker conversation with Ray Capo.
I'm gonna say, Ray, don't be a helicopter parent. Just you gotta push your kid out with the bottom of your shoe like a push kick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just push kick your kid off the stage.
They staged over a couple of times.
Yeah, they were all right.
Yeah,
well,
I think
fun.
Kids always end up doing the crowd surf stage dive.
Yeah, Eddie Vedder stage
Yeah.
dive.
Whereas
they can't hardly wait.
Right.
Like the kids singing
Yes.
Paradise City.
I think
laying dead on top of the
Yeah.
crowd.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which don't get me wrong, we've talked about
Fun as
it.
hell.
Having gone out now with Turnstile, where like there's a new influx of kids that maybe don't know how to stage dive that great and end up doing that. That shit's still fun. The Lollapalooza stage dive is still fun, but I'm just saying that Ray's kids, he should have maybe grabbed them by the bottom of their seat of their pants and because he's still built as fuck, right? He could launch a kid.
Yeah, he's thick.
Yeah, you got to launch a kid.
So
I've never staged him.
really
In your life,
I'm a man of larger character.
I know you
man.
say this all the time.
I did this once at CBG's while we were playing. Hot knife through butter landed on my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm sure we've talked about it. You and I got the opposite problems. You got the hot knife because you're big. I am so tiny that I can cut through any selection
But
of people.
you're and I feel good because what you got to do is spider your body out.
I know. Yeah,
and
I know.
once you get out there,
I know.
you got to do like a flying X.
But who was it? Who famously was it? Karl Malone, who famously wore glasses their whole career.
Oh,
James
there's a
Worthy.
bunch. James Worthy.
James Worthy.
There you go.
So I got to be James Worthy because my only as a kid, stage diving, you know, maybe you're concerned about your back. You're not concerned about somebody's grubby little fingers going into your eye socket.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you're freaking about eye
But
sockets.
now
right
that's
now.
where I'm at.
Yeah,
Now
no,
that's
that would
where I'm
worry
at.
me.
Yeah,
You know, it's never been a face thing. You rarely get your face in.
that's all I've got anymore.
Yeah, it's landing on the ground is real hard.
I mean,
A hard
CBGB's,
stage
that
dive-
place has
Yeah.
just hepatitis.
I was gonna say, yeah,
that's
you
true.
got
like there's metal down
you
there
got
that people
something.
cut themselves.
I
You got
got
something.
scratched on the leg at that shelter show in a way that I was like, I got tinnitus now. There's
Bob
not
was way
tinnitus.
up there. Tinnitus. Well,
No.
you might have gotten tinnitus because it was loud, too.
Tetanus, right?
I'm going to get dark for a second. My cousin had to get AIDS tested a lot because at a Nine Inch Nails show in 1994, somebody pricked him with a hypodermic needle.
Jesus
Oh, yeah.
Christ.
Yep.
So be on the lookout for that, kids.
Yeah. Don't go to see Nine Inch Nails.
So-
Don't go to see Nine Inch Nails.
Shelter. The one good anecdote that Ray shared was that the first Shelter record, Perfection of Desire, he was like, I swore to myself this was the last record I was ever going to write. He's like, I swore.
Yeah.
He was like, I swore it. I was so just burnt out on hardcore. Everything felt like a competition. People were taking shots at me. I was taking shots at people. I hate it. He's like, so I was like, I was going to just do this one
was like
last record.
farewell.
He's like, but it pulled me back in.
Yeah,
So shout outs, right?
It was super
Shout
tight.
out
They were a
to-
lot of fun.
yeah.
John Wick Ray.
Yeah. All right.
What
Wanna
else
go
we
back
got?
and forth? Well, let's hit us with one of yours. Or want me to go?
Okay, let's see. So first, let's talk about label stuff. Real quick, we talked about sort of what feels right now like a very bifurcated scene where we've got Closed Casket putting out the ultra heavy stuff and Triple B putting out the stuff that is not ultra heavy. And we were lamenting that there's not enough labels. You hit us to inform us that there's a trillion labels. Yes, we're aware that there's a trillion labels, and it was no disrespect.
Yeah, no stress. If you haven't heard our other episodes where we mention many
all
of these labels,
all of you by name.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But we'll get more into it. But labels are important to hardcore, and if you don't see it, it's okay. We actually have had some conversations about bands who have chosen not to work with labels, and that's cool. I'm with that. But there is kind of there's a magic to having a Mr. Miyagi to help your band and give you some wisdom.
And in my experience, and this is probably totally wrong, but when I see a band putting out their own record, I go, no one would put it out for you. Like, I always assume that it's like, no one wanted to pony up the cash to put this out
That
for
is
you.
changing, but
Yeah, it is now. But like when we were kids, it was sort of like,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
you couldn't get anyone to put this out, so you had to like pull
used-
your money together to press it yourself.
It used to be considered straight up a quote unquote bad look.
Right.
Now I think that is largely changed. Because,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I still suffer from that too. But I'm also like a cynical asshole that's sitting around being like, I know your situation, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
You
you're
know
trying
what
to be DIY, but you have to.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, and so here's a funny thing. Like, it's not like you're a heavy hand in the heavy hardcore scene. But you talk to your boys from Detain, right?
Yeah,
you
I
have
do.
a conversation with them.
I do.
You bounce ideas, they bounce ideas, right?
I've got and I've actually,
And that's a cool thing. And there's a lot of people who are a lot better than you at it. No
I would say
offense.
that,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And it's just having something like that in your corner.
Yeah.
Having somebody who's got your back. There's a bunch of ways that labels help you, but you look at Triple B, you really look at Closed Casket, you really look at Run for Cover, and you realize you look at labels like Deathwish, and you realize, oh shit, you got a team of people, or even just one super capable person who's there helping us scratch my back, helping me go, oh fuck, XYZ happened, and they go, okay, we got
I've
you.
done this before and know, the
I think
pitfalls of things that you can,
Yep.
Tom, we can vibe on this for a second.
Yes.
How clueless was Indecision for the majority of its career?
Was? Is? Forever shall be? Yes.
And
we don't know. Who the fuck knows? You
Yeah, right.
You hang out with your friends, you write songs.
Yes,
Who knows?
exactly.
Yep.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Right. If someone was like, hey, man, like, you should put out that own, I wouldn't even know where to fucking start.
Sure.
I'd, like, Google Jack White and try to figure out how to fucking print. But I have no idea.
Yeah.
We might have some solutions for you on that soon.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me.
Yeah,
Like, I've never put together, like, I've never folded 7-inch covers. I've never done any of that.
You didn't miss out on much.
No. It sucks.
That's not that fun.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, so I don't have that experience. But, like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
No.
And it's just little things,
Yeah.
Like it's the fill in the gaps between what you can do, and Small bands, I've been talking to a lot of younger dudes. You don't necessarily need a booking agent right now. You don't necessarily need a manager right now. You don't necessarily need a label right now. But sometimes those things can help. And if you're going to have one of the three early on, having a dude who's helping put out your record is not a bad place to start.
Particularly if you're talking about like a traditional hardcore relationship, which is highly non-committal. Which, don't get me wrong, look, for every fucking label, for every 30 labels, let's say one does business the right way, and that is, that can be, okay, so a funny story. Iron Pier, a label that we've worked with in the past and going to work with in the future, is a two-person operation.
Yes.
And it is the most professional label I've ever dealt with in my life.
He's great.
And
many of you out there listening probably haven't heard of him, and that's for shame. But there's a lot of you out there who have heard of him and go, oh, yeah, oh, shit, every record he's done looks awesome.
Yeah, looks good and does accounting in the way that you'd expect from Roadrunner. You know what I mean? So, most professional label I've dealt with, despite the fact it's a two-person operation. That said, there's not a single professional in self-defense. So when I get highly professional correspondence, I just I flag them and go, okay, I'll get to that in a week or two. You know what I mean? Because it's just
you do the whole I don't like how you're talking to me right now.
Yeah.
Forward to group chat. Question mark?
Yeah. Because and that's the way that so many bands are, right? It's just like, if we were professionals, we'd all be doing something that makes money instead. Right. You know what I mean? So
good to have those folks in your corner.
It is. Yeah, it is.
All right, so labels, don't be mad at us. Do your thing. Get at us.
We will read everyone's name. Email us.
We're, at the end of the episode, we're going to say, we want to thank the following labels. Plead Your Case Records.
86th.
IOU Records. 86th Records.
And
Deranged Records. That'll take us an hour.
Straight up, I'm not even, I was kind of dismissive when I brought it up because I saw people online talking about it, and it's my nature to be dismissive. Yeah. But, there are these very tiny labels that are doing good work. So
really cool stuff.
So it's no disrespect at all.
And it's across the spectrum. There's stuff we talk about. There's stuff we don't talk about.
Yes.
So.
Oh yeah, there is. That's another thing actually. So occasionally you'll bring up some punk shit that I have no contact with, and so that people at home understand. That's just because it's not my interest. But that's shit I respect. There's people that are 80 releases in on a true threadbare budget DIY and have been doing their thing for 7 years plus.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just not my world, but that shit is all cool too.
Yeah. I mean, for the dudes who are looking for us to talk about Beach Impediment Records, I'll do that all day. But these guys haven't heard the Fried Egg 7-inch yet.
Yeah, you're going to lose
I'm going to work on that.
I saw that. I've seen that name somewhere.
Beach Impediment did the...
no, I've seen Fried Egg, and I was that is just
they did
terrible name.
The vinyl version, honestly, they did 50 copies on
Fried Egg.
Clear with white
yellow.
and then yellow center, and it looked really cool. I didn't get one. Mark hooked me up, but...
we can't cover everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we're not talking about, the band from fucking Omaha, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I live in New York.
Shout out to Peace of Mind from Oklahoma, who Trip Machine Records is putting out.
Oh, no
and
shit.
that's really good. It's really
hard.
cool.
Psyched for them.
Trilogy 12-inch coming soon.
I think I just drove through Oklahoma. I can't be sure because it's all the fucking same.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. All right.
Pat's in a band.
This might be a heavy Pats in a Band episode.
Speaking of bands, a band from Southern California, Forced Order, is breaking up.
We don't talk about bands from California.
No,
we
only
mentioned
one or
three
two.
bands. Yeah.
Three bands.
We mentioned Twitching Tongues, Terror, and who else?
Fury.
That's it.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
So I don't
Forced
know.
Order, never heard of them.
No, I don't know what they sound like.
Okay.
Who is this band and what does it sound like?
Did they come out on a label or
So
something?
Forced Order, breaking up. We're all
a shame.
familiar.
Yeah.
A shame, but they've been around for a minute.
They've been around
Not that long, though.
I think
5
so.
years, 6 years.
Oh, it's got to be
maybe
six.
even
It's gotta
7.
Be six.
Yeah.
It's got to be 6.
I remember seeing the whole whatever date to 2018. I was like, I felt like they were around longer.
Maybe 2012.
Oh, see, I thought they were around for a minute.
Maybe.
I'll be
it just
honest.
doesn't seem like a long time because it's like, and then they came out fucking charging and then they kind of slowed down over the years.
So tell me, it's not because it's
Demo 2014.
not because it's anybody's
2014
business.
to 2018. I mean, that's not a long time.
No, it's not. But I mean,
Now,
hardcore life.
Think about that though. Think about bands who were around from 1995 to 1999. Felt like a lot longer back then.
No, yeah, it's true too. Yeah.
You know? And that's an age thing for us.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, think about all the soup like Gorilla biscuits.
Yeah, they're a 4-year band.
You know what I mean? But back then, yeah.
So okay, nobody's business, not germane to anything, but singer moved away. Is that the situation here?
Not sure. I don't know it. But I think they would just called it a day. So they did 2 LPs, I think. LP on Rev, and then this newest LP on Triple B. Handful of EPs, and they came out of the gate super hot.
Yeah.
I actually think that early material, I think it's Eternal War, something like that, is my favorite of their stuff. I haven't given the newest LP on Triple B. Yeah, I haven't given it more time. I liked it a lot more than I liked the Rev LP. But cool band. I think they're setting up a last show in Southern California in September. All those guys are doing other stuff or have been doing other stuff. Yeah, I mean they're a part of that larger group of bands from Orange County, LA, who, I think all those guys got 1 or 2 band projects. A couple of these dudes have been or were in or still are in Twitching Tongues, Fury,
God's Hate.
God's Hate. Yeah, it all circulates. So, just calling a day for this one. If you like it, check it out. Last shows can be pretty fun.
Last shows are fun. That one will be fun. This is a band that largely missed me.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, this just doesn't connect. That said, they're good at what they do. I thought that when we started saying, let's talk about that on the podcast, a friend chimed in and said, you should talk about how that band did it wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's right.
And I think that's, without sending any fucking disrespect, the Forced Order direction, I think they would probably cop to that. I think that it is, we've talked about it on this podcast a great deal. How I want everybody to take a run at things and how that's impractical.
Yeah, spend your mid-20s touring relentlessly.
Right, and that's not practical for everybody, and it's also just frankly not what everybody wants, and increasingly it's not what anybody wants.
It seems like that.
So with respectfully to all of that, this band kind of it was a bit of a self-sabotage.
So what did they do wrong? In my opinion...
Are we allowed to talk about the logo?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Let's talk about that in a moment. But I think musically, the record on Rev was a lot of parts. And I've said this before. I think it was a lot of parts, and it just didn't feel as cohesive as I would have wanted. There can be a lot of reasons for that. I think the production on all their material was fine. Sometimes it came off a little flat. And I think that they're a band that you know what? We're getting ready to do this whole deep dive on hardcore 1992. I caught myself listening to Sick of It All, Just Look Around, which is a really good record.
It's really good.
It's a really good record. And I actually like a couple songs really stood out. But then I went on to Sheer Terror, Ugly and Proud, which came out the same year. And I was like, I might like this more. I think that Sick of It All, Just Look Around is better.
It is.
But Sheer Terror, Ugly and Proud has more personality.
I mean, it has more personality than most...
Everything.
Any hardcore record ever.
Yes, correct. But so that was the thing, is that I think musically... almost anyone's capable of giving more personality. And I think Forced Order was doing something that was really specific and didn't have enough weird quirks to really pull me in or to make them people's favorite bands. Like the Mongoloids. That was a lot of people's favorite band because it was so fucking weird.
Right, and you can pick holes in the Mongoloids all day.
Everything.
All day.
Swiss cheese.
But... You're right.
His voice.
It had character. It had character.
And I think Forced Order had a lot of the things I wanted from a hardcore band. I liked the name is great. A lot of their imagery was great. The records, some of their themes visually were things I liked. Musically, it was kind of doing the quote unquote quote dark hardcore thing. And there were parts where I was like, that's a good part. But it just didn't gel, and it didn't have enough unique shit that really made me, as a dude, be like, I love this.
I think you're right, but what I think both of us were probably thinking is, it's a record away.
Right. That's the thing. I'm always, for a band like that, I'm waiting for it to weird out. And we've talked about this many times. Like, sometimes a band like that, where it's like, it was okay. There's something there. Like, I would assign them to Rev. Sure. If I was working at Rev, I would be like, I'm not sure what this next record will be, but I'm excited to hear what it will be.
Yeah.
And, so they had a weird logo.
Yeah. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. I think I only know 2 of the dudes in the band. A bunch of Mexican kids in the band, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm just saying, because the reason we're mentioning...
I mean, there's definitely some...
people of color in the band?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's modern Southern California.
Right,
like everybody,
but you know why I'm going to mention this. Because the logo is a modified white power logo, right? That's what it is.
It comes off
That's
very
what it looks
Aryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is actually just like
It looks like the cross
Yeah.
with like a little thing over it, so it's an F.
right.
Yeah.
And here's my white guy perspective. If you got even one Mexican kid in the band, you can do whatever the fuck you want with that logo. You know what I mean? Like you can appropriate that any fucking way you want. If you're a bunch of white guys, it's a tough it's a tough conversation. You know what I mean? You could still subvert it if you wanted to, but you're going to have to answer a lot of goddamn questions. But if you got a couple people of color in the band and you have a strong feeling that, hey, my youthful will is more powerful than this fucking image, who the fuck am I to
Right,
tell you?
because it's a reappropriation.
Yeah, and I
taking
like
it.
personally, that's punk to me. I like that shit. I like when somebody says like, "Yo, fuck it, fuck this."
Do you think
I'll
they
take
were
a shit on it."
reappropriating it though?
I don't think. I think
Or
they
is it
would,
just to be like a fuck you?
I mean, even if it's a fuck you.
I mean, there
even
are a
if-
lot of Latin dudes in New York hardcore that have fucking Swazis.
Yeah, there are.
Like, so does that make it cool? I don't know if
No,
that makes
that's
it cool.
true.
You know what I'm saying? That like
You know what?
dudes, I don't know.
We know enough of the dudes in Forced Order to know that that's not their deal. So like,
No, clearly.
So
and like I think we'll both agree. I think everybody in this room would agree that like, I'm not against somebody taking something and trying to make it their own or take it back, et cetera, et cetera. But Tom, you had a visceral kind of reaction the first time you saw that logo.
I was shocked, honestly. We played together, I think, at Rainfest.
Yeah.
And I remember like they had like one of the stalls, whatever, for like their merch. And I was like standing there like waiting for a band to play or whatever, and I looked over, I was like, what the fuck is that? Like you can't tell it says Forced Order from far away.
But here's the thing,
Or like the F, it's like an F and not just a fucking
yeah,
cross.
Yeah,
Quite honestly, you know what I mean?
but the trash talk upside down peace sign. You know, if you do
That's iconic now.
it is, but the scroll one, not the original, but the scroll one. It has its own like particularly potentially sketchy look to it because it looks like one of those fucking bullshit ass Aryan runes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I guess
a lot of bands have done that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
Fucking
is
horror
like
shows done it.
Yeah.
I personally don't mind that shit, and I think that if you have people in your band that very clearly signify that those are not your politics by virtue of their skin color, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Then I think.
Well, I don't know if that
I know.
precludes you.
I
Like,
know.
I don't think we.
none
of
he's
us are in
catching
the
you.
place.
I am aware that New York is full of some deeply strange people.
In New York and the U.S. in whole. I mean, there's a lot of people with identity issues that have led them to very interesting situations in political viewpoints that you might go, yo, homie, are you oppressing yourself and family?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's
there are
what
people of color that are down with our president.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah,
Who
a
is
lot.
fucking
Sure.
straight up a goddamn racist.
Sure.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
true.
So like, I don't think that precludes, like, kind of protects you from any kind of.
You know, it gives you enough slack that I don't assume the worst about you. You know.
Well,
what
so
I mean?
here, this is fun conversation for sure, and it's interesting to talk about. Do we think that it negatively impacted them as a band?
Couldn't have helped.
No.
I don't think anyone. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really probably
think
paid
it
that
would.
much of
Yeah,
attention.
no.
You know what I mean? Like Horror Show had a shirt that had the
weird
totem
skull.
whatever
Yeah.
the fuck it's called, like
Yeah.
that. Which
Nazi skull?
we had traded shirts at a show, and I didn't know what the fuck it was because
Yeah.
I'm a fucking
Yeah.
dude from Brooklyn. We don't fucking fuck with that shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yo, that's a fuck." I'm like, "Wait a minute," because it was on like a Death in June shirt. It was like a Death in June tribute shirt.
yeah, yeah.
And I did some research,
Yes.
and that became a shirt that I wore under other shirts because I would never wear it out again.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like they could get away with it because they play every once in a while.
Yeah.
If you're a touring band and like you're in the middle of fucking bumfuck America and you have a fucking thing that kind of looks sketchy.
I mean, I think true, but I think that we also we should account for the fact that everything goes in waves, and right now you couldn't get away with a Totenkopf shirt like in any respect, even if he was wearing like a top hat or like something that subverted the image in some way.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You couldn't do it.
This
However,
wasn't that long ago.
no, but I'm saying, however, 10 years ago you could have. In another 10 years you can, because it's just like these things come in waves of like people forget there was plenty of protests against the band Rape Man, but Rape Man was a band. You know what I mean? Like they played shows, they toured regularly, and like
Let's see if Albini.
yeah, and it's actually the first thing is really quite good. But
Terrible name though. Yeah.
Terrible name. Yeah.
You know,
All right, don't get us. in
Well,
trouble.
whatever.
I won't be-
it's again, it's sort of the idea like when does language and our ability to use it or kind of twist it and contort it go from art that might be offensive to being offensive because it's offensive? And,
Well,
and like, how can people see that?
But I don't think their logo really affected them. I think they didn't seem to do all that much.
That
In the
is where
States,
we
at
go
least?
to. That is where
like
we
I know
go to.
like they killed it in like Japan and stuff like that. Like I know they did well in Europe. Like
All my commentary on the music side. If that band committed to the bit, as we're fond of saying, for 2 years,
Yeah.
they would have been very big.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Because live, I think they absolutely crushed it.
yeah, they were great.
And also,
And had that energy and had that momentum right out of the fucking gate. And they were a band, as we've talked about, that people wanted to like. I wanted to like them. I think everyone in this room wanted
yeah,
to like
absolutely.
them. So logo shit, whatever. That's interesting. It's something to think about, and we could talk about that probably for 2 or 3 hours.
But
Jesus.
the kids that are into them probably didn't pay it much mind.
Right.
No.
It's the people in our age range
Yes.
that has like
Ooh,
brings
what
up
is
like a
that? Right.
visceral
Yes.
kind of like. I know what this means because I've seen this before on people that weren't good people. You're a 23-year-old kid that probably doesn't even fucking ring a bell to you.
right. And
You know what I mean?
at some point, we should have the side talk about what generation, what age finally stopped collecting Skrewdriver records. You know what I mean? We've talked about it off air.
Yeah,
but
I think that's be it secretly or in small groups
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah.
I think that there's very few under 30.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You know
guessing
what I
too.
mean?
Easily,
That's
yeah.
what I'm guessing. But it was
I'd say 35.
it was highly normal.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
know any,
Thank
but-
you.
highly normal.
Highly normal.
Right,
I knew
like-
people.
yeah.
Lots of people.
Yeah. Actually, know somebody that did an Albany band that did a Skrewdriver cover, just early material. Which, look, I don't want to get into that conversation. The early material is worth covering. So
I mean, Marauder covered.
yeah, there you go.
Well, so I mean, it's a tough Screwdriver conversation. I didn't think we were going to go here today.
Well, there you go.
Screwdriver. So I mean,
It's freshman year again.
So this is something that I, as a younger dude who got into punk and street punk, like those early Screwdriver records, including shit that's not cool. That you hear the
Oh,
lyrics and go,
not cool at
"This is
all."
not cool.
Yep.
This is bad." The music is good. Do you know though that he's saying things that are so offensive that the 7 seconds part of me goes, the music, the message, and I go, you know what? I'm never going to listen to this again. And I wrote it off. And I said, I can acknowledge as a human that the music is good.
yeah, you got ears.
I mean, I'm not trying to cape up or anything, but
Yeah.
I have never listened to Screwdriver in my
Really?
entire life. I couldn't name you a song.
Really?
Yo, Super Touch live on NYU. When he goes, Screwdriver sucks, you know what I'm saying? That moved me. And I go, he's fucking right.
I agree with
and
Mark
I'm out.
Ryan once.
I'm out.
It never kind of reached my.
So you've never heard it?
No, I mean I must have, but
Right.
like, I don't
You've been
like,
in somebody's car, but
or something. Like,
yeah, but you've
do
never
you-
willfully heard it.
no,
Yeah.
You like some oi and
yeah,
shit.
yeah. I mean, I'm just not gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't give a
Yeah.
shit.
Which
Like,
is good. Which is good.
It just never like.
This kind of goes to the art and artist separation conversation.
Yeah. Well,
There's our
meanwhile,
spectrum.
meanwhile, people can hoist me from the biggest fucking whatever, but I probably have some Screwdriver on my fucking
Maybe,
thing
yeah.
right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I
Like,
mean, as a kid though, when I was coming into things,
Yeah.
look.
it wasn't like a thing.
Oh, really?
I mean,
Well,
it was
Marauder-
to the older guys, but
Right.
like,
Right.
so I was going to shows like my first shows were like Starkweather, Marauder,
Uh-huh.
all this like heavy shit. So like
But Marauders was covering it, right?
with Jorge, like
Early.
4 years ago.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Yeah, and it was kind of like they did it at some show, and like the bartender was like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?"
I mean,
But
Yeah,
he's Jorge,
yeah.
and
What's he
yeah.
gonna
What are you
do?
going to say to Jorge? But
You know.
but here's I mean, as the art and artist separator extremist in the room.
Yes, yes.
the
We spanned the globe.
yes. I'm not like I'm not in the tank for fucking Screwdriver. Just so people at home are clear. That said, I think that you do have there does have to be something literally wrong with your ears. Not if you hear it and you do the reflexive, that's not good. You're lying. If you want to take Tom's position, which like, people write us, and like after we had the conversation on art and artists, a lot of people take your position, which is that they're thinking people and they acknowledge
Yep.
that it is possible to separate. They think, hey,
And they choose not to, which is fucking
choose
great.
not to, right.
And that's the thing we want to encourage is to choose not to. And I think we also talk about access to information and exposure to information. You know, a long time ago we talked about the zine store.
see
See
here.
here.
See here, right? And that ability for information to be available. I didn't listen to Screwdriver going, man, really want to. What's this about? Let me dive in.
Yeah.
But it
There's
was
a ton
being
of catchy
played.
shit out there.
But exactly, and that's the thing. It was being played, and I go, oh, and then somebody's like, oh, and I'm hearing what's being said. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
Go buy fucking
shit.
Shock Troops, listen to Cox Bar, and that's all you need.
I got okay. Real quick.
Way better.
No.
Cox Bar is way better.
The early Skrewdriver material is kind of untouchable. Like it's not just like it's not me.
Who the fuck are you guys?
It's not me being shocking. It's like, look, and also
Shock Troops?
hold on.
Yo.
Look,
Dude,
Yo,
have you heard thousands of people singing those songs?
no,
It's
look,
amazing.
it's
I know.
awesome. It's awesome. But like,
know.
I'm also like, look again, bar me from certain countries, but
Sure.
there is an explicitly racist record that I purely love. I love it, and if anybody has a problem with that, they can
banned in El Salvador.
they can meet me in the parking lot because
He's gonna get
He
beat up
works out
now.
for like a week and a half, and now he thinks he's.
because here's what I take from it. What I take from it is not I agree with a single sentiment on this piece of electronic media. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I don't agree with a fucking single thing out of the man's mouth. However, I find it to be an utterly fascinating capsule of the anxieties that man felt. And my point
What are you
is,
talking? What band?
I prefer not to say.
Yeah.
It's like Death in June or some bullshit.
No, I love Death in June, but Death in June is for the people at home that are confused. Just do a little research. Not an actual Nazi band,
And
just
not a good band either.
Oh, I love Death in
Oh.
June, but that's just.
I think I like Tom's
It
impression
is
though.
fucking.
We're gonna close with-
unlistenable bullshit.
Today's episode is going to close with Tom
Yeah,
doing
I'm
just
Death in
gonna be
June.
like, Death in June. I'm wearing a mask.
So, my point is that it is like I think that there's this confusion that if you recognize someone's anxieties, that means that you share them or you advocate for them
Right.
or that you feel that in your heart. Whereas to me, this is a historical document. Like I don't agree, and I don't feel any compulsion to agree. I don't have any. To be totally frank, it doesn't even elicit sympathy from me. Like I don't hear it and say,
Which is good.
I don't hear it and say, you know what, you're right.
No.
You know what I mean? All I hear it and say, this is as interesting as reading, like you watch the Ken Burns Civil War documentary and it's first, what do you call it? It's the correspondence basically.
Yes.
And it's like, yo, that's a fascinating account. I don't need to share that view. Why should history be scary to me? And like, that is exactly how I feel about.
That's some of the access to information things that I'm big on too, is that I don't want us to turn away from ugly shit.
No.
I want us to look at it and go, yo, that is some ugly shit. Or like, that is some ugly shit. And there was this, there's got to be a place for being able to acknowledge existence and not be appreciated and not maybe proliferate it. When I was going to say, when I think about bands covering Skrewdriver, Skrewdriver sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mark Ryan.
So
You wrote
first-
one good song and said one good thing.
Yo,
Yeah.
disagree. Really like the LP. We'll deep dive on that in the 91 episode, I believe.
Yeah.
Searching for the light.
Painted,
That's what I think
Painted
of Death
Sky.
in June.
No, I'll turn you on to some Death in June.
No, I
shit
don't
that'll
want to be, 'cause
blow
it
your hair
sucks.
back. Oh,
Forced Order.
Wearing a mask. Sorry.
Forced Order. R.I.P. We're with you.
Yeah, sorry
See you
that
at
you
the
guys
live show.
somehow got lumped into Screwdriver
Yeah.
and fucking Death in June.
yeah, sorry.
You're not.
The
They're
band's
not.
really good. Sorry to see you guys go. Hopefully, I'm psyched to hear what you guys do in the future.
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah,
with that.
exactly. Yeah, get wild.
Now, let's get positive. Bring anything else. Anything else.
New Madball album. Sounds like Madball for fans of
Madball.
Madball.
You really, you can't go wrong with Madball.
But there was a song with a reggae track.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a hardcore song with like a reggae part.
Okay.
Okay.
And like Freddie's got a little bit more melody in his voice.
Okay.
New video came out with Lint Tim from by Vivian Rancid, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
I think he produced the record. It's good. Matt Henderson plays on it.
Do you know who drew the Madball logo?
Yes.
Who?
Steve Huey.
Really?
He's a tattoo artist. He owns Flyrite on Metropolitan Avenue in Brooklyn.
Really? Okay.
He did all the Crown of Thorns stuff. He did
okay.
Madball. You can buy if you go to the Flyrite he makes prints, so
Okay.
you can buy a Madball print. They're fucking awesome. And they're like $10.
Cool. All right.
He's done
shout out Flyride.
back. There's a Sick of It All shirt with the Pain Strikes. It's like this really awesome back. He drew that.
Okay,
He drew a
that's
ton of iconic NYHC stuff, and he's like a really famous tattoo artist.
The Madball logo to me is so
fucking
cool.
perfect.
It's perfect.
It's clearly hand drawn.
Yeah.
It could be, people could mistake it for a font when you're not looking at it, but you look at it and the weird flaws in it, the D interior is slightly oversized. It's fucking cool.
It's perfect. And the thing, like, as a kid, I remember, like, Madball. Like, you could buy Madballs.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it had many connotations. There were, like, those, like, kind of, like,
The
garbage pail
yeah.
kid
The toys,
fucking
yeah.
toys, but also a Madball is a fucking 8-ball in a sock.
Right.
That's right.
You know?
The more you know.
Yeah. But, yeah, the record's cool.
What's the name of it? It's
For the Cause.
For the Cause.
Have you seen the cover? It has a very Amy Winehouse cover.
Really?
Yeah.
Pull it up. Let's take a look.
It's very funny.
We listened to a little bit of it before this. I listened to the single that got released maybe 3 weeks, a month ago. I liked it.
Yeah.
You know, actively trying to kind of dig into more of that stuff. Because Madball's good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see it.
Is it just him with the words?
It's
For the Cause.
It's him with the mic. It's Freddie with the mic.
Yeah.
And there's like magical light coming down.
Oh, I've seen that. I have seen that. Yeah.
It's pretty stark.
yeah.
I like it a great
You got
deal.
Amy
but
Winehouse on the brain.
It's Wayne. Yeah,
It
it's
could be
I love Amy
Winehouse.
Winehouse. But there's like a female singer on the reggae song.
No
that
shit.
Kind of does, it's at the end. There's like a dub part. It's actually really good.
It's going
It's
a lot
cool.
of different directions. All
Yes.
right. I will check it out after this podcast. I was too busy doing our 1992 deep dive that we'll get into.
Will be coming soon.
Next week,
to
homies.
listen to new material.
It was that episode 47.
That's it.
It's
87.
actually special episode 100. Yo, I got a wild idea for episodes 44 through 50. This is real. We'll talk about it off air, but that's a little teaser.
A little pre-production.
All right.
All right.
It's cool.
boy. What else you got?
Let me just say this. NYHC.
Oh,
I know some stuff about that. Did you break your phone?
I did. You
Hey,
have
Patreon, can we get this?
you have no
I
idea
think
what a
we're
bummer this is because I've gone my entire life without breaking a
screen.
A screen.
It bums me out. Like, I don't like to, like...
No, it bums me out. Like whenever I see somebody with one, I go, "Get your life together."
Yeah, like when you
know what I
see
mean?
someone I'm like, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
It's shattered.
It can be bad.
It can cut. It's glass.
Yeah, and so this is my entire life. I've never broken it, and I had hung my hat on that. I was proud of my ability not to break a screen. And then about 2 weeks ago, this dropped perfectly to break, and I have been feeling broke.
That's why you've been quiet in the group
That's
chats.
what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I mean, I don't want to be classist, but I don't really like to hang out with people like you.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you
Like,
at all.
can we go to, like,
And this was an episode of Axe to Grind. Please check out Tom and Mai's new podcast.
Barry's hookup or whatever? Can we get you fixed?
Not
Can we get you
broke.
You can
sorted?
get it.
Not
I
broke.
think 60. Yeah, not broke podcast. Cashless.
Cassius Kenlin.
Next quick hit. Go for it.
Okay. A thing that you and I talked about on the last episode, but there was a sound issue, so I ended up having to cut the meat of it. This is on my mind because Self Defense just went out with a band that's out of genre for us, and Drug Church has a lot of touring coming up. So these things are germane to my professional life. Is it right to avoid touring with your contemporaries if you're over a certain age? Like, for example,
Okay, right. Because I had said, why isn't Self Defense doing some dates with Red Hair?
Right.
A band who we all like.
Yeah.
I think that new record's fantastic.
It's great.
I was digging into it.
and I said because they're old, and for me to say that as a guy who is getting old sounds stupid, right? But like my attitude is, yo, it's cool. If I was a young band, I might want to do shows with Red Hair. I don't know, but as a dude who is younger than them, but certainly aging,
Sure.
I think it is dangerous. Like after we played that Touché show, that was a really fun show, and it brought
Touché's 1000th show in Los
1000th
Angeles.
show, right? And we talked about it on the air, and they brought out La Dispute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now a Touché La Dispute tour right now would crush. Is it the right move? Does it put people in a state of nostalgia? And for me, that's always a question because, now don't get me wrong, this doesn't necessarily mean anything to my band because we've never gotten big enough for this to matter per se. But
You're in a band?
when bands do the album reunion thing, when they do the packaged with somebody from their era,
From that era.
thing, it can be fun, or it can dance a very fine line of codifying staleness. And as a result, I am sensitive to not necessarily wanting to go out with things of a certain age.
But
Are we good?
Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay. Does that make so? So your question is,
Am I a fool? Because we've talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go on, please.
No, I just
Oh, in general,
yes,
in general.
yeah. Yes, you are a fool.
So
no? So I mean, yeah, I don't disagree. I think that there is an element where maybe we're being vampires and we're sucking off the young, but. You don't, right?
Tom and I both made the same face.
It's fine.
When we were sucking
I'm not
off the
worried
young.
about it.
All right, go on.
I said vampire. I
Go
put
on.
the
Yeah, no,
vampire
you're
clause
right.
first.
Well,
Sneaky dagger recipe.
Yeah. But I think that the idea of being stale, yeah, you go. I get weird about anniversary tours. I get weird about anniversary festivals.
Yeah.
I want things to feel active and alive. I feel for bands who are told, no, just play the hits. Even though sometimes that's who I am too. I'm saying just play the fucking hits.
I mean, certain bands, please only play the first 4 years of your career.
And
Right.
nobody wants to hear like
Yeah.
new shit most of the time when you're around for 27 years.
for sure.
But as an artist, that feels like the worst prison of all time. Am I
Well,
wrong?
You can mix it in.
Right.
There's a very fine line to kind of be like, hey, this is our new tour, so we're playing 10 songs off the new record. Here's a couple of hits sprinkled in. Or
Yeah.
like, here's like the 5 fucking bangers from our record, and here's other stuff that you want to hear.
Right.
So here's
And
a-
I think there's something to be said too about like playing with bands of your ilk and of your generation. Because there's times, personally, we've played shows with younger bands that people are like, I don't really give a fuck about you guys.
Sure.
You know,
That's right.
Getting in, we're between fucking Incendiary and Turnstile on a show.
Right.
Everyone gets a burrito during Indecision, comes back for Turnstile.
Yeah.
It happened to us in fucking Worcester.
Yeah.
Or, we've played shows that we're like the younger band.
Yeah.
That like, we're opening for Sick of It All, and people are like, oh, you guys that are coming to see Sick of It All never really even heard of us.
Right.
Who are these youngsters in Decision?
You know what I mean?
Maybe I'll
But
check
then-
them out right now.
But there's been times we've played shows that like we're paired with one other band from our generation.
Yep.
And those like, we played a Black and Blue Ball with Kill Your Idols.
Right. Or when you play with Strife.
Right. Or when we played with fucking VOD and it was like, oh, this is like the perfect.
Right.
Because it's like us by ourselves playing with a bunch of younger bands. Old folks might not come out and see us.
Right.
Playing with older bands without a band of our ilk, the younger kids might not come out and see.
Right.
So like there's that like really, really fine kind of point that you kind of have to have like one other band that's kind of like ties it together. It's like a rug.
Added value.
I put the onus on booking agents and promoters. 100%. Yeah, you guys could do a weekend with Red Hair. It should be booked with some young bands
Right.
that make sense. And that it's not you and them at the top, so the attrition happens at band 3, so bands 4 and 5 get jammed. You playing at that show with Incendiary, then Indecision, then Turnstile.
Right.
You should have played before Incendiary.
Yeah, well, yeah, well,
You know
we
what
do
I
that
mean?
now. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just one of those. But there's other shows where you certainly should play over them.
And
no,
maybe not 2018.
no,
But yeah.
maybe not now. But you know what I mean?
No, that totally
But-
makes sense.
But
And
I put that onus on the people booking the show and them and the bands to just keep that in mind. I think you're right to be wary. But like that, I actually thought the same thing with some young bands who hit me up about doing a show. And they were just doing a weekend, but it was a 3-band package. And my initial kick was like, oh, I don't know how to book this around it. I stopped and thought about it. I was like, okay, I think I can figure it out. But even that, it was like 3 new bands, all at basically the same level.
Yeah.
Maybe one had a little more push than the other 2, but I was like, they're all at the same level. Now, if it was like one who was a little hotter, one who had been around a little longer, and one who was a baby who nobody had heard of, that you can figure out and structure something around. So I think a lot of it is about the connotation. Should Self-Defense do a 3-band package tour with Red Hair and Fiddlehead?
Boom.
Yeah, that could work. That could
Sweet
work.
Jesus
That could
reunion.
work. That could work. But like if it's Self-Defense and Red Hair and you just have one local opener for all the dates, no, that sucks.
Right.
And you'll still get some of your diehards. You'll
Yeah.
get your 20 diehards. You'll get their 20 diehards.
Yeah.
And you'll get the 5 guys from the opening band.
Yep.
And that's it. And that's,
so-
or the 50 people who want to see the opening band and then half of them leave because they're like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe like they put their friends on a guest list.
Yeah, right. And, so self-defense is kind of, this is going to sound odd, almost lucky in the respect that we've never had so much success that we got to worry about that type of packaging. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the bands that have names and are legacy acts and are important do kind of have to think about that. You know what I mean? But we don't, except in the respect that we want it to be a good show. You know what I mean? So it's just been on my mind a little bit because listening back to that episode and what we cut, old guy bands playing with a middle guy band. Do you throw young people? I don't know. I don't know if there's any solution really, because I think people start to zone out after a certain age.
Well, we were saying that about the Sick of It All Murphy's Law shows,
and those look packed.
And every show was packed. Some
Yeah.
of them were sold out.
Yeah.
Like they
Really?
just packed out the Roxy, and they sold So I mean, there's something to be said to kind of be like, well, fuck it, because Sick of It All could have taken out whoever,
Right.
and got a huge walkout.
Yep.
Because kids came to see whatever the fuck. But like if I'm as we get older, it's like Sick of It All is a bunch of bands I don't know. I'll catch them next time.
Right.
Oh shit, Sick of It All Murphy's Law.
Right.
All right.
Well,
Right, and there might be
and
there might be the way to have that magic, and you put in Combust or whoever or
Right,
Dead
right.
Heat
They
out in
had,
California. There's just one that you can pull in that helps get some young and exposes the older folks who are coming out to chat. Be like, oh, this is cool.
Right.
The Shelter Show is the example I'm going to use
Perfect.
because we didn't talk about this and we should have. How many people were there who were under the age of 25? We said maybe 300 people were there ish. Alex Casey's 24.
That's about it.
And his younger sister and younger brother. And that
Maybe
was it.
5. Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot. And then if I said, okay, how many people were there under 30?
No. And
I was in the-
Force is the perfect young band for that crowd.
And
Right.
they apparently failed.
Oh, okay.
Apparently it was
Didn't go over.
buns.
Okay.
And it was just like 6 or 7 people from the Hudson Valley were moshing for him. And it was a lot of old people like,
Well,
what's
that was a
going
Shelter
on?
show.
It was a
That was a
it was a
very-
Shelter show.
That wasn't a hardcore show. That was
but,
a Shelter show.
But that's my thought too is you have to be careful with the mix and you got to figure it out because Shelter, they played. It was cool. There was time I was into it. I was going off.
I was moshing. I watched.
I was
ready
like
for Pit
expressing myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was great.
I was being spiritual.
I'm familiar with
Yeah,
that.
doing a lot of this with the hands up, like.
When
Yeah, I was
108
into
started
it.
playing shows,
Yeah,
you saw me getting.
Oh yeah, I got a little ignorant
yeah,
for
yeah.
So I think
And
that's
Dave
the
Smalley's
deal.
band played, which I can't say I watched.
We were outside talking baseball. I think.
We were.
But I think I'm putting the onus on book the shows well and mix it up. But think about it. And tours, book the tour well. Actually, Fiddlehead, you guys and Red Hair, that's interesting.
Interesting.
Fiddlehead might need a headline, even though they're
Absolutely. Why not?
You know what I mean?
Why not?
Wow.
They did well on our Boston show. I'm sure there was walkout.
The streams are crazy. Those California shows look crazy.
Yeah.
Like iconic levels.
Yeah, I'm
already.
psyched for them.
Side question, related. How important, in your view, is it to be part of a rising or exciting scene?
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, don't hurt.
Does it? Okay, I think maybe it does, and here's why. So, pivoting from self-defense conversation to drug church conversation. By the way,
band?
We're sorry, everybody.
He's leaning into this. So we get a lot of complaints about people. I don't typically have a problem with it. We're gonna get more indecision stuff because
Maybe not.
Yeah. We're gonna if we can pull it out of them, we're gonna start bribing you
With what? I like
money,
pizza.
money and vegan pizza. I
right,
actually
yeah.
I have the vegan pizza order form so we can get some delivery soon.
Fuck yeah.
Our time is important. We can't walk over there. But Pat Trick uses his bands to relate to a lot of these subjects, and I find that good. And I've had feedback from others who are like, "No, I get it. It helps." So
I'd like to hear more about Drug Church, to be quite honest
Let's
with you.
hear it.
I'm not even trying to be a dick.
So pivoting to Drug Church.
Okay. People at home that don't understand the context of me talking about
I'll
my
be back.
bands, you think I'm promoting anything here? all you fuck yourself. So, the Foley artist over here.
Michael Winslow.
So,
Bob did just walk away.
how important is it to be like, okay, Drug Church, right?
Yes.
Is going out with what by my ears, and this is painting with a really broad brush, is going out with like what I call pop punk, right? And I don't know.
Do you want to name the band or you don't want to?
I think it's announced. We're going out with a band called Microwave.
I know the name.
And
They just did tours with like a run with like Jimmy Eat World or something.
the Weezer, Jimmy Eat World, or something,
Yeah.
right? And to me, like, look, I'm sure that people in that scene consider that rock, but to my ears, and
It's
that
pop
might,
punk.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's pop
Yeah.
punk. And I say that without like, I don't like pop punk.
No
but
disdain.
there's
Yeah.
no disdain. It's
Yeah.
just whatever. So, but everybody's riding me to be like, no, that shit's not cool. You should be going out with like, and they're naming what is a different scene, even though to my ears, it's
not that far.
exactly the fucking same music.
Like such as?
Like they're saying you got to go out with like Prince Daddy and Mississippi.
I didn't even know who that was.
And like
Mississippi, I know, but it's just the name makes me want to hurt myself.
right. I can't. But I guess here's the thing. Here's the point that people are making. That shit is hot right now. DIY indie, basement indie is hot.
Thing. Yeah.
And it goes from Bob pointed this out earlier. It's skip a step music. It goes from DIY, celebration of DIY, look how DIY we are, to Coachella nod, and then typically a breakup, right? So
right. I know a band that I'm thinking of right now that exactly fits that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's that band Chumped. Do you remember that band Chumped?
They were around for 6 weeks, sure. Yeah.
Great. I really enjoyed the record, but they were the same. They were like the Basement Fest band,
Yep.
but they were playing like. If you got them on like a Paramore tour, they would have fucking murdered.
Right.
But they're pop punk for all intents and purposes.
I mean, by my standards, certainly.
Yeah.
So everybody's point to me is one scene feels tired and from an old generation, and this other thing is what's popping right now.
But materially, it's not that much different.
Musically, I don't hear a difference remotely. I don't,
Okay.
And that's no disrespect to anybody. You know what I mean? But I guess my point is, as a grown up, I find it very difficult to latch my horse. I guess I felt this way when I was a kid too. To latch my horse to anything, even though I do recognize, like Bob's point, it doesn't hurt. A rising tide raises all ships.
Yep.
All that.
Yep.
But like, okay, so like, we all remember when emo was the rising tide. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
No pun intended, because that is a Sunny Day Real Estate record.
There you go. I'm talking about the other. I'm talking about emo from like 5-6 years ago or whatever, right? And Foley artist Tom.
Me doing that with the soda the other
sounded so good.
It was incredible.
I want to clip it.
like we could sell it to Coca-Cola.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, movie theater shit.
And it was a Pepsi, wasn't it?
It was.
So, where was I at? You lost me.
Emo.
Emo
You're
from
talking
5
about
years
emo.
ago.
Okay, so you remember look, this is no disrespect to the World Is, who still have a career, etc.
Yeah.
But I would say that they were the one that survived from that scene, and now that scene is decimated. You know what I mean? I don't hear of anything coming out of that.
Well, who else was in that scene then?
Who was it? It was Foxine. It was there was like 7
Oh,
bands.
I see. Yeah.
Yep.
And
They were the shade past post pop punk leaning indie, like
the indie to emo, like sort of thing. But that scene had a ton of energy around it.
Mm-hmm.
And fast forward a few years, and there's only a couple survivors, right? And maybe you could say that about anything.
Yeah, it's rough in the war zone out there.
Yeah, right.
No survivors.
It's like
Bane.
it's like the scene in Game of Thrones after a dragon battle. It's like, oh shit,
Yeah,
man,
there's
many
a lot of
people left
incineration.
here.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
So my point
How
is,
many people right now are listening to this and being like, "Who the fuck is Foxing?"
Oh no, I think they were huge, bigger than
They
any
got
band
big
I've ever
from
played in, bigger than all my bands put together. Like, honestly, like a relatively room-filling band.
Right.
But
world.
but that's kind of my point.
Yeah, but he's right. Our audience might be like,
Oh, maybe I don't know.
But it's all right.
But
Sure.
my point is
we ain't mad at you.
that like
Who the fuck is Renee Zellweger?
all of this shit feels like Clap Your Hands, Say Yeah 2.0. Do you remember that?
Check.
Yes, thank you. Do you remember the
Yeah, of course.
blog rock?
Yeah.
where it was like we were told that this was going to be a thing, and famously, I always use this as an example. I read it a couple years ago. I thought it was fascinating. The National opened some of those shows, and now the National can fill a 2,000 cap on their slow day.
They're filling an 18,000 cap in Queens 2 nights in a row.
So let's talk about that. Meanwhile, Clap Your Hands, Say Yeah is playing the soda bar the day after Self Defense. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, of course.
So like.
Franz Ferdinand.
Right.
Dude, they were gigantic.
Mega hit now. I'm sure that they can do the state fair circuit and do fine, but it's not, like nobody's excited. Anyway,
Sure.
The point is that I'm just not convinced that whatever the scene is at the moment is ever worth chasing or belonging to for a real motherfucker like me. Is that fair? Or is my hubris preventing me from taking advantage of being part of a thing that could potentially help me?
Your fear of the depth of individualism is hurting you.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's that you've existed in spaces, and as have many people, where the tide is rising. It was not. It was dry, and the tide has now been rising.
Moving on.
So you've been able to navigate that pretty well, while staying on your own thing. There's people who lean into it too much, and it's like you on that whack shit.
Yeah.
And then there's people who shy away from it intentionally, and you probably fall more into that category.
I would say definitely, yeah.
And that's not doing you any favors either. Stay the course. Don't worry about that fucking shit.
Okay.
But you're right.
My attitude is I'll play anything, but like when people are like, you should play this because it's cool. You know what I mean? I go, man, cool, not cool. Who the fuck got time for all that
those
shit?
are the same
Cool
people.
changes a lot.
That's my point.
And those are the same people who are telling you, oh, what's this band sound like? Oh, they're going to be huge.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So.
Okay, so those are two things I want to talk about. What else you got?
Our heroes Turnstile, Fury, touring Europe right now. Shout outs to them. And mostly interesting on that is that they've got big festivals coming up. Hellfest in Europe. Who are they playing with? Iron Maiden?
Oh, it's like something ridiculous. Incendiary's playing. Like, it's like the band that you think is like the biggest band in the world is on like the third stage.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like they're on like the Beats by Dre stage, whatever the fuck.
A pole lineup. But they also
Avenged Sevenfold is like a headliner on these things.
Oh.
Which still to this day blows my fucking mind that these idiots that we've played with and like their first record, their thank you list, did I ever tell you this?
No.
Their thank you list literally says, "For those I love, I will sacrifice," and then names all the people.
Wow.
Nice.
And no, I will not that cool. Who gives a shit? But the fact that like they were like the also rans to the Atreyus and the 18 Visions and stuff, and they're like literally headlining over like Marilyn Manson.
Yo,
and
You know what? They're the survivors of that scene.
It's insane.
Yes, they are. Yo, so this brings up a point. For those I love, I will sacrifice.
It gives some context.
New things.
There's people that don't know what we're talking about.
Indecision lyrics. Who do you and Justin wrote those?
Yes,
You,
Justin, yeah.
But you sang them, so
Yeah, I mean, I made them cool.
Justin, yeah, you made them cool.
He made it a hot line. You made it a hot song.
Last night at a show, a friend of mine plays in the band Nightbirds. Introduced me to his friend, who's like, "Oh, my guitar in that band is his guitar. He got me into stuff, blah blah blah." And so the guy who had given the guitar is like, "Should have been me, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I said, "Yo, stolen valor." That's for those I love. I will sacrifice. Stolen fucking punk valor.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
wow.
Avenged 7X.
And First Blood.
So many. So we call in stolen valor when we see it now.
But I mean, honestly, this is not me sucking Tom off over here, but it's
all right. He ain't mad about it.
Been a minute, yeah. A very good line that people take out of context of the song a lot.
Yeah.
But also works if you want to put it on your lunch pail when you're.
That's true too. People do.
You know, like
we selling those to Union 718 out in.
I mean, hey,
Staten Island.
Yeah.
It's a song about atheism, and
right. But people take it to
some Marine got a tattoo. Knows it?
Right. Yeah.
But Hellfest headliners: Judas Priest, Avenged Sevenfold, Iron Maiden.
Who's Avenged Sevenfold playing over? Like
Deftones.
Okay.
Fuck.
Dude, that's nothing.
Carpathian, Limp Bizkit is on their day.
Oh yeah.
Dimmu Burger.
Dimmu Burger. Dino Burger.
Hatebreed. Just a couple. Neurosis.
Couple small things.
So yeah, Turnstile's playing that, and Turnstile's playing some big festivals in the U.S. Tell me what you know.
They're playing Made in America,
Made in
which is like
America.
the Jay-Z Beyonce festival in Philly.
With
Nicki Minaj and like The Weeknd or something.
Code Orange,
Yeah.
The Weeknd, Nicki
Code Orange
Minaj,
playing,
all the big ones.
They're like the only two like probably guitar bands, I would imagine.
Yes.
Nicki Minaj and Turnstile.
Nicki Minaj, yes, Barbie Tings and Turnstile and Code Orange.
Wait.
I was surprised to see Turnstile on there, except I think that's probably their booking agent is finally scoring a victory with those guys and saying, please do this thing. And I think we could all agree that Turnstile is a band you can put on virtually anything. And,
yes.
And the worst that's going to happen is a net neutral.
Right, and this is my hope.
Yeah, they're musical.
My hope is that when they play that and when they play Louder Than Life Festival in Louisville, Kentucky,
Louder than
with Avenged Sevenfold, Limp Bizkit, Breaking Benjamin, Godsmack,
God.
Five Finger Death
Whoa.
Punch, Shinedown,
Jesus.
Nine Inch Nails, Deftones, Ice Cube,
All the hits.
Primus, Billy Idol, that they steal the show and convert some fucking non-believers.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Code Orange, Power Trip,
Not
Turnstile, Knocked Loose have all been on those kind of like radio rock festivals.
I think this is Turnstile's first run at it.
I mean, I feel like they played the Carolina Rebellion and all that sort of
they?
shit.
Oh,
I believe they
I don't
did.
even know what that one is. Is that like a radio thing?
you-
They're all like, or it's like,
Yeah, it's like
fucking
the
some festival.
Q1043.
Yeah, or like they're playing like festivals in like Texas and like baseball stadiums.
Right,
That's
right.
true.
Like,
That has happened.
But
trying to pull
yo,
up the Made
we've
in
talked about it
America.
a million times. Let's just beat it into the kids one more time. Being phenomenal live will put you in places that you don't belong and get you paychecks that are cool.
And
I mean, I don't
we'll-
know if they don't belong.
No, maybe not.
But it'll feel weird when you're getting in that pool. And you know what? The next time you go through there, you might have some more weird people at your show.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And that's the goal for
I
a lot
think
of
that
this
takes
is
guts.
exposure.
Oh, yeah.
To be, especially, I mean, Turnstile, I think is one thing. I think being Code Orange and being so abrasive at a festival that it's like, yo, this is like mostly R&B.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
I think that takes fucking
Off
balls.
air, I said they got to lean on the electronic shit and go heavy with that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that takes a lot of guts to kind of get up there and be like, fuck, like 99% of you guys are not going to like this.
I mean, Code Orange. I think so. We think of.
You want me to read some of the bands that are playing?
Yeah.
Why not?
At Made in America? The two headliners are Nicki Minaj and Post Malone.
Post Malone, ex-hardcore.
He is. He's
just
down with like
a hardcore
Biohazard
dude.
and shit.
He's just hardcore right
Yeah.
now at this point. Why
Meek
not?
Mill. Fat Joe.
I'm not giving it to him. Sorry.
Diplo. Miguel.
That's your old-minded shit, man.
Ty Dolla Sign.
I'm-
But like, there's White Reaper. There's Show Me the Body.
Yeah, so it's like
Code Orange,
it's
Turnstile.
anything with a high energy manager.
Wicca Phase.
It's
Spring's Eternal. All right.
Lil B,
okay.
who's down apparently like core adjacent, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
He likes the shirts.
Oh, yeah. Lil P Cashless is on there.
No, thank God.
Is that your new name, dude?
So,
Yeah, I'm gonna walk you across Chinatown and get you some food that's a wet napkin.
So what these guys are referring to is I took them to my favorite restaurant in New York, and
Who'd you take?
And they,
No, I was not there.
They spit it on me.
Yeah, a couple guys, and they were very upset.
Dusty.
Patrick, you've taken me to good restaurants. That Indian place on Central Ave is very good. Still,
Is that Albany?
yeah, the place that I go in
I
Chinatown.
mean, it's fucking Albany. Anything is decent because it's Albany.
And-
no offense.
and as
you
long
guys
as-
literally have bombers. You've been leaning on bombers for 25 years.
Okay, so
Like in New York, it's
There-
like, dude, there is food everywhere. I walked 3 miles in fucking
Albany has a
hot
vegan
as balls.
restaurant now.
it's good. Have you
never-
gone?
No, that dude like stole my girlfriend. I can't fuck
Oh,
with
yeah.
him. But even though we buried the hatchet, but I still am not. I don't know if I'm going
still
to his
not
restaurant.
shopping,
I don't know
okay.
if I'm going to his
You
restaurant.
should go in and get some free shit.
I
I mean, it worked out for you though. You
Stolen
kinda won.
valor, stolen girlfriend.
Yeah, be like, yo, dude, let me get a fucking egg
Also-
roll for free.
Also, full disclosure, she was right to leave me. You know what I mean?
And you
No
went
axe to
out.
grind.
But no axe to grind. Actually, shout out to that dude who just approached me like a man at a fucking event, and
At an event.
and we talked on it in a mature way.
I mean, but you have a lovely girlfriend for a couple of years, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
went
Well,
out.
that's the other thing, right? Is
You
like,
date girls,
Yeah,
date women. Apparently, that's a big joke too.
reference what you're talking about, because otherwise people think we're insane.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yo,
It's become like a joke, and it's not cool.
yeah, don't fucking, yeah, whatever.
Well, I
Yo,
don't,
diehard listeners, y'all think it's funny. It ain't funny. Just shut up.
I don't need to get all serious on it. I was just gonna say that.
That is taking receipts
it-
out of his pocket.
is that-
Are those receipts that you got from people?
No,
like
I'm,
you're
look-
gonna.
I'm looking for a tissue.
He's getting his tax
yeah.
right off.
No, point is, yeah, that worked out fine. But shout out to that dude. But I still haven't gone to his restaurant yet.
But yeah, so after the Rabies tribute show in Tompkins Square Park, Patrick Kinlan walked oddly from Incendiary.
Yeah.
Dusty Clouden, who's from the suburbs and does not walk,
Yeah, that's true.
for like miles.
And no, hold on, and you, and now you're gonna say, and I am a man of larger carriage.
no, but I walk, man. I'm not afraid of it.
I say,
But it was a long ass walk.
we walked what? 20 minutes? What is
20
that?
No, it was longer than that,
What
dude.
is
It was like
that,
an
torture?
hour.
It's
An
probably-
hour.
It was probably 20 blocks.
No, it was more than that. It was more. Like,
Yeah, okay.
It was Tompkins to Chinatown. How far is
but
that?
it was like deep Chinatown. You were like East Broadway shit. And we got there and the food sucked.
Oh no.
It was literally someone gave me a wet napkin.
We're not
to
gonna
eat.
we're not gonna get that sponsorship now. It's vegetarian dim sum, my favorite spot in the city.
Okay.
It was pretty whack.
Love it.
And also, to top it all off, so we go there and it's like, yo, here's a fucking wet napkin. Here's this. Not to wash your face with, to eat.
Yeah.
This motherfucker, it's cash only. Who doesn't bring any money?
That's me.
This motherfucker right here. So Brian Audley, who barely knows his
Lil
dude-
P cashless.
Yeah, Lil P cashless, and Audley had to pay for his food. And then he gave him a hard time for ordering an Uber. Because Pat's too punk.
I am too punk for Uber.
Yeah, you walked, man.
Yeah. So
I'm so hungry. The moral of the story: play the big festivals. Fuck it. Weird
fuck
shit
it.
happens.
Fuck it.
All right. What do you got? You got anything?
Let's see what I got. I just want to talk about like the other thing that I noticed on tour. Like we can talk about like
Well, we're getting into self defense. Did a U.S. walkabout with Sonnet. Cool. It's done. You're
It's
gonna
supposed to be
give
like
some
Sonnet,
Sonnet.
Sonnet. There we
but is
go.
it like Sonnet, like Sonnet?
But it's spelled
It's spelled weird?
S-A-N-N.
Is it, like, spelled
It's a
alternative?
it's a clever name. It's a clever spelling of
S-A-N-N-H-E-T.
sonnet.
Sonnet. Yeah.
Oh, you don't like that?
I thought
It's
it was like
bitter beer
something that I
face.
didn't really know what it meant.
Okay, no. I think
I
it's
thought it was
Sonnet.
I thought it was German.
I think it's
don't know.
literally just a it's
Play.
it's a Google searchable version.
Got it,
of,
got it,
you
got it,
know?
got it. Okay.
Sure. All right.
That's cool.
And you're gonna talk. So give us your walkabout. We don't want to hear about your band, but tell us about the rest of it.
Let's see the US.
Podcast interactions. Good
Oh yeah,
food.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so people approach me.
All right, so here's my question.
Yes.
You were given at the Brooklyn date
Yes.
a Whole Foods employee
Yes.
T-shirt. Not to blow up your spot.
Yes. Okay.
Were you able to use that to eat for free at any Whole Foods?
You know-
Because I feel like in like, you know, your fucking stomach's touching your back kind of days on tour,
Yeah.
that you go like, fuck this, I'm going to put this on, I'm going to act like I'm an employee, and I'm going to eat a pound worth.
Move some boxes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say since Whole Foods has, I'm not going to say that I do this, but since Whole Foods has gone over to Amazon, the type of customer service /
Employee?
loss, basically.
Loss prevention.
Yeah, I'm not going to advocate for people fucking just stealing, but you can eat anything you want at Whole Foods. Walk around with it in your hands, and nobody's going to say anything to you.
Right, but you could fill up like a salad box and just fucking eat for a day.
Well, I mean,
that shirt.
this is me getting into theft now. If you go to Whole Foods, if you go up to the salad bar at Whole Foods, fill it up, and then go to customer service and say, "Hey, I found some bad lettuce in here. I'm sorry, I can't eat this." They'll say, "Go take anything you want and sit down." And you fill up, and then you just walk past the register. And there's no reason. Look, if you're hungry, there's no reason to ever pay at Whole Foods.
Lil P cashless up on the mic.
But like the thing is like
Wow.
even when I've been broke the last couple of years, I haven't been so broke
No.
that I've needed to steal from Whole Foods. The only time I steal from Whole Foods is when there's a line, because then I resent them, because I'm like,
Yeah, it's
come
a
on,
line.
man. Come
Nobody
on,
likes
man.
lines.
So we are single-handedly going to bring down Jeff Bezos.
I mean, if I can, you know what I mean.
All
Like,
right.
But
Small steps.
That's it.
So yeah, shows were fun.
shows were fun. It's exactly like we thought. We haven't grown in the interior of the country in maybe 5 years.
Yep.
The coasts, we played some of the big shows on weekdays and still did really well.
Which is your fault.
It is my. So I should explain that.
Because my immediate reaction was, why aren't you playing the big spots on the weekend? Cheat code. Play the big spots on the weekend.
Right. So okay, real quick.
Higher highs.
Yes, exactly. That feels counterintuitive. It might say like, oh, but like Los Angeles is going to bring out whoever they're going to bring out. But meanwhile, if we play Petaluma, we should give that a Saturday and make sure everybody comes out.
So this is the math. You're going to play Charlotte, which is a secondary market.
On its best day, yeah.
If you play on a Thursday, you're going to get 40 people. If you play on a Saturday, maybe you get 60, and that seems generous. If you play Philly on a Thursday, you might get 60 people. But if you play on a Saturday, you might get 120.
Right.
So get that double up in the big spot, as opposed to it's a weekend. It's a weeknight. I'm work.
Right.
You know.
But as you pointed out, it is my fault, because I told our booking agent, I'm not driving overnight for any fucking reason. And that's just a lifestyle choice. I'm not looking to die. I hate overnight drives.
You are the un-overnight drive.
I am. I hate overnight. I think overnight drives are a needless waste of my life. I refuse to die that way. So
Didn't you get in an accident?
we saw somebody die on this tour. We saw somebody like directly in front of us on the coming the opposite way. We watched a front end blowout that sent a guy through the guardrail and down a 40-foot ravine, and it happened in exactly less than a second. You know what I mean? The whole thing, this man ceased to exist in less than a second. And
Has nothing to do with time.
but your chances, Google it, your chances of dying on the road go up after 11 p.m.
Yes.
This absurd amount.
I mean, is it because like the truck drivers are on speed, fucking
It's
flying
'cause-
down the road, or is it like
it's because your reaction time and the reaction time of everybody else on the road
and
is,
just like less
is
people
decreased.
around to help you too, right? I would imagine.
That might be
Well,
true.
and yeah,
I'm thinking more impaired people, and you are naturally more impaired at 3 a.m. no matter who the fuck you are.
And max speeds are being attained as opposed to, you know, heavy traffic. You get in an accident on the highway at any time, it's not fun. But if you get in an accident in the middle of dead stop traffic,
it's a
you
bumper,
pull
right,
over.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, how many times have you driven past like, oh, that car's on fire?
I mean, I say it all the time. Like on this tour, like we saw 2 major accidents, including the one that looked very much like the man immediately died, all the time. And
It's
if you talk
fucking
to a 30-year truck driver, they'll tell you how many fucking corpses they've seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I just I love playing music, and I'll risk my life within reason. Overnight drives are not within reason. So I will play Fort Worth on a Friday and drive the next 2 days rather than play rather than rush to play anything. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather miss a weekend, miss out on, for us, really good money in a potential place like Los Angeles, and do it on the weekday just to avoid an overnight drive.
So bands, you can take that with whatever grain of salt you want.
Yeah,
if you got a guy who can drive, you're young and you don't care about dying, do it, because that means the difference between playing big spots and playing to a lot more people.
Yep.
Yeah, or just be smart and figure out how to book it. You know, look at your dates and book backwards from being like, all right, I'm going to do St. Louis, Chicago, and fucking Cleveland, and then I'll play Columbus and
It's
fucking
say this,
Pittsburgh
though.
on the weekdays.
I'll say this: it's right now for guitar acts of a certain size. It's tough out there. Like because what you said is true, except finding the venues right now for certain cities is fucking tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some don't have a 300 cap.
Yeah.
Like, and if they do, it's booked until December.
How are the DIY venue stuff?
Okay, so we haven't done.
We're picking food while you're talking.
No,
Sorry.
that's fine.
Sausage peppers?
This
What do
was
you think?
this was a matter of debate
And cheese.
on this tour because we played a bunk show, and it was
It happens.
right, and I don't think where it was it could have been a good show. However, it was also a corporate, like maybe even Live Nation bunk show. You know what I mean? And as a result,
Which is cool. You still get your money.
that's thank you. Exactly.
Not, you
And-
know.
No, it's a good point.
Yeah.
But my bandmates said, we should talk to Adam, our booking agent, and see if we can't, in like a couple of these Midwest cities, see if we can't do the DIY spots.
Yeah.
And look, I'm sympathetic to every position here, but having been in the room for a lot of booking and having booked shows myself, I don't blame a booking agent for not wanting to fuck with the DIY scene in any particular city. And for those of you that like maintain your scenes through hard work and DIY efforts, I understand that what I just said is potentially offensive.
Yeah, man, you on some thin ice today.
No, but like, look,
I'm listening to Skrewdriver and dissing your DIY scene.
look, they just got to be honest though. It's like there are more flaky DIY promoters than there are good ones, and there are more people who are going to promise a band money, and then if attendance is low, appeal to your punk nature, which, by the way, booking agents do not have.
No, painting with broad stroke. However, what you're saying is true in the sense that if you're a DIY promoter, you can tell bands to go screw or just be like, oh, I forgot.
Yep.
With little punitive repercussions. And if you're in the professional setting, it's, you're going to be out of job, or we're not going to work with your venue, and your venue is going to go out of business.
Also, let's take the middle course. If I walk a DIY promoter to an ATM, I'm the conversation within a small scene that I am the bully. Mm-hmm. If I walk a professional promoter to an ATM, that's his regular Saturday.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
No, you'll never have to walk them to an ATM because they'll have the money.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be a conversation in the future.
And sometimes it's a necessary
we're doing
evil,
both.
honestly.
Oh, I mean, look.
You have to play some shows that it's like, you don't have to, you would feel guilty if you played Chicago for a DIY guy and, this person might lose a couple of bucks. If Live Nation loses a couple of bucks, go fuck yourself.
Sure. And I mean, also, that's worth saying is that professional promoters are playing a numbers game. So they need to win one more time per month than they lose. That's not the circumstance.
That's the win, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And that's not the circumstance for a DIY promoter. Now, again, I've been a DIY promoter. I debate doing it again. You know what I mean? Because I do actually find putting on shows more fulfilling than I think many people do. So maybe I'll do it again, and certainly Live Nation won't be financing me. So I'm sympathetic to any DIY promoter out there, particularly the people that are really putting a scene on their back. Yeah. I'm just saying that other people are making you look bad because the number of unreliable DIY promoters is so high that I just can't. You can't ask a booking agent with multiple clients to cut through the noise to determine that you're the good DIY promoter in whatever particular region you're in.
Do you think there's less onus on them because it's like, I know I promised you X, but I can only give you Y?
100%. Like I said, because if I walk Jimmy Barf to the fucking ATM, Jimmy Barf goes online and says that I'm a fucking villain. You know what I mean? Like there's no accountability in DIY. For anybody that is like, I'll bury.
I think there are.
I'll bury myself here. There are, for every good person in the DIY scene, there are people who do not value the bands. They might value the scene, quote unquote. They might value the community, quote unquote. Whatever.
Right, but they don't value your time and your effort.
Not at all. And in some small supplemental way, I'm a professional musician, and you can rip me off. You can. If you can appeal to my better nature, you can. But if you appeal to my DIY nature as a means of getting out of something, that's just not going to fly. Because when I did shows, I just made sure I had the money in my pocket, and that's the fucking end of the conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, you're playing a dangerous game, especially now. Like, if you're doing a DIY space and you're a DIY promoter and you don't have a guarantee, chips fall where they fall. It could still be your fault. You didn't fly or you didn't promote it, whatever. You just picked the wrong bands. Hey, man, all I got is $30 for you. Oh, that sucks. Hey, man, there were 7 people here.
Yep.
That's what it is. But if you're a DIY promoter at a DIY venue with a band with guarantee or a couple bands with guarantees and things don't go your way and you don't have the money, well, man, you gave that promissory note. You said you were going to have this. A lot of bands will be cool and go, yo, we understand.
Yeah.
They feel some onus on them. Like, yo, we're playing Timbuktu and we only drew 15 people. We know. But there's also, you said you were going to get us $350, man.
Right.
What's the deal? You got that $350? And when it goes back to that building a scene conversation, you're building a scene in a weird secondary, tertiary place.
Count on a couple losses.
Count on some losses. Make sure you got that $350 in your pocket.
Right. And just so I'm clear, I mean, we still do get booked on DIY shows. I've just seen too much to say the answer to any region is let's do DIY shows, because I know for a fact that sometimes finding that reliable promoter is nearly impossible.
And a lot of times those DIY people that are, dependable become the pro.
Almost.
You know what I mean?
In my experience, almost always.
Think about Long Island. Think about different places.
Yeah,
it's
almost
kind of
always.
like, you're so good at this.
Yeah,
that you've made bigger people are taking notice, and they're like, come on over.
Right. And you know what?
Which is fine.
For those of you that are super punk, maybe you got opinions about that.
You can bring your punk ethics and kind of
It's
not
hard.
lose money.
It's hard when you're working for Live Nation, but
I know a lot of people that do, and
a lot of people do.
you know, they keep it
But
real.
then it becomes about like curating, like, you know, like Live Nation gives me X amount of money and I've decided to bring in this band that I think might do okay, but it's like I want to support them and all that, and that's cool. But yeah, so middle of the country is still fucking hella rough for us.
I think it's for most.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Except in Chicago, where we had a great time and always do. I'm trying to think of what else I saw. People came up to me, talked about the podcast a lot.
Positively, I hope.
Yeah.
Anyone step to you?
Well, no, but people, multiple people take notes on what we're wrong about.
Oh yeah, that's great.
They write
enjoy
it,
that.
They write it down. Yeah.
Just FYI, there is next to zero preparation for this.
Oh yeah.
You just happen to be listening to three friends talk about some shit.
Yeah.
For the most part.
It's not fair
Not
to
to
say
say
next
that
to
because
zero.
Bob does a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like we're not like
with the conversation that we talk about certain. You can tell the episodes where there's 1992. We've been working on that.
right. But if we're just having like a off the cuff conversation
today.
if I go like fucking Set It Off came out on fucking Epitaph and I forgot it was on Roadrunner.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
don't, you
get
don't,
out.
you don't need
Sorry,
to do
man.
that shit. But people.
I know it was on Roadrunner. Please don't at me.
And
So-
a lot of times we'll self-correct ourselves afterwards, and
Yeah.
we're like, "Oh shit!" all right.
People. Here's what I find fascinating. There's multiple worlds within our world.
Yes.
And people often only have access to one, right? So like when I was dealing with the neck tattoo guys in Atlanta, they were like, "Yo, why do you guys talk about shit like not wearing your shirt or wearing your shirt?" They're like, "That's not real." You know what I mean? Like that's
some
not,
people it is.
That's not a thing that right. And then I have the other experience where you know what I mean, where
Like,
people
why are you
explain-
talking about beatdown hardcore?
Right. So like I find that personally really fascinating, and to be honest, that's a great thing about this podcast is by virtue of the fact that we talk about a lot of shit, I have to know about multiple fucking things. But like it is really interesting, like meeting the people that listen to the podcast that like they're from a region, they have a lane, they know what they like, and also they have their own ideology or politics. And when we talk about like, oh yeah, this thing is bubbling up right now, they're like, I've never motherfucking heard of that, you know?
Right, and it works both ways.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
cool. Like you can get at us for like not talking about your particular city.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But like, dude, I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I know as much as I know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna know everything.
Yeah.
There's no disrespect. It's just
Sometimes for me, I willfully don't know some shit, but
sure. But I mean, there's no I don't know about or we don't know about every single thing. Bob might.
he's close.
Bob knows most.
It's close.
But I mean, you know what? Like, I know what I know.
Just relax, everyone. We love
Let's
you.
have fun.
We love you. This is so.
You guys are
fun.
feeling attacked? What happened? You got
I'm
the
not.
emails. You got
I'm
the
not
emails.
attacked.
The emails got you.
The emails are a little much.
Yeah, we love you.
We
We
do.
like the feedback. If you
We don't
got
like
it-
you, but we love you.
Yeah.
No, if you got feedback, remember, we're all just people. We're all just humans.
What happened in these fucking emails? We got
Nothing.
If you
No,
got
that's
feedback, write it down and then shove it up your ass.
Oh wow! All right. so I gotta check out the emails.
So don't worry, we're getting hungry. The order's in. It's
all right.
coming delivery.
So
But I mean, like, you know what? My whole thing is like I read them after Bob has already probably dealt with them.
yeah.
But I kind of go like, yo, it's not that deep, man. Like I'm sitting in a fucking stinking room for 9 hours talking about hardcore, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, this one time you said that. You know what?
Temperature check. How is it in here right now?
It's a little
It's
a
getting
little
balmy.
gamey.
It's getting balmy.
But you know what though? Like the way I look at it in terms of bands, in terms of zines, scenes, whatever the fuck, if you can do better, have at it.
Yeah. You know what?
I'm gonna say
Yeah, we the voice of the people.
You're
we the
known
best.
as the nice guy, though.
you're not gonna
You're known as the nice
Go
guy.
for it.
Oh no.
go for it. That's the whole thing. Like
Tom,
you,
you're the bad guy.
Tom's
I'm
challenging
turning.
now.
heel turn.
heel turn. This is
Oh,
me.
shit.
Like I'm gonna hit you with a chair.
Does that mean
when
I
you
gotta
turn.
go face now?
You might have to go face.
Oh,
But you know what I'm
fuck.
saying? Like if you can do better, please. Have
Do I
at
do
it.
an about face from saying I've got Skrewdriver on my hard drive right now and just
Now
say,
you only listen to anti-racist bands.
Okay, I mean I got plenty of those on my fucking
Of course.
thing too. Okay,
But hey, we're doing our best.
It's great.
Do better.
so
I don't know what is happening.
what do we got?
Oh, NWO.
Hollywood.
New World Order.
Hollywood Tom Sheehan in the
That's it.
building.
I just dyed my fucking beard black.
Heel turn. So
It's just kind of like, oh man, like we all got our own fucking life shit. And like, you're gonna call us on some nonsense?
You got to not read the email because I have no idea what you're talking about right now. Like I feel.
I mean, they're not even that bad, but just like, I would like to point out that you guys said in episode 17, like, yo. You know what I mean? Like, there's times that I've worked a 10-hour day and I've come to this fucking rank-ass place and we're talking about fucking hardcore. If you don't like it, do it better.
Hold on.
If you can do a better band, go and fucking do it.
I got a different perspective. So, you know about like webcams, like nude people on webcams?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Does not.
Okay. So
there's nude people on webcam. Apparently, people show their butthole. I don't.
Yeah. So there's butthole cams and stuff like that. So,
Ew.
So here's the deal, though.
Butthole pleasures.
So here's the deal.
Alligator fuckhouse.
Most of the people say, "Hey, no abusive language allowed." Is that another Hollywood Hulk Hogan?
No, this is Val Venus.
I don't know Val.
He's a porn star.
Oh, is he a wrestler?
Yes.
Was
Okay.
90s.
Oh, he's good looking good. So you recognize that?
I liked wrestling in the 90s
Okay,
a lot.
all right.
Yeah.
So where were we at? What the fuck were we talking about?
Cam girls.
Oh, Cam.
It went from me fucking grinding an axe.
But here's my thing. There's cam people that make a point of saying, "Hey, no abusive language. Like, I'm just gonna kick you out of the fucking chat if you're saying something rude, whatever." Right? Like, I personally would go the other way, where I'd say, like, "Yo,
Let's get dirty.
For the money, you can call me any fucking thing in the world." That's kind of how I feel. If you are a Patreon subscriber and you want to hit us with an email that says "You idiots are wrong all the time," I'll eat that email and send back a smiley face.
So I want to say thank you to everyone who's supporting us with the Patreon.
Yes, thank you very much.
You guys
Very
are
kind.
great. And if
And
you
this
like
is like
this
99% of the people do not do this.
No, I know. But that's why
we just got hit with a couple. You know what? It's funny. Maybe we're going to do an online class, a webinar for everyone on how to check your tone on emails and correspondence. It can work over text messages too.
You know what? Though?
Enthusiasm gets you a long way.
Yeah.
Couching stuff with some positive positions really helps you.
Like,
Pat,
sometimes I read these things, I get so
No,
stoked.
but I was just gonna say that actually your online tone is to
Pitch
me,
perfect.
To me, it's confrontational because it
Seems it.
because whenever I have a trigger, whenever somebody responds to me with a question mark, like let's say I ask you like a question.
Axe to grind?
Let's say I ask Axe to grind a question,
Uh-huh.
and you respond with maybe question mark or no question mark. When you mean it as declarative, you mean it
Like, you're like checking me.
you mean it as like,
Oh, you're taking it like that. I'm like, maybe.
I know
that.
you are.
Yeah.
But like, I have a thing. Okay, so weird. I'm sure I've talked about this. When old men shake their head at me, I want to knock their fucking heads off. I get so mad because it's what my dad does.
Like, a dismissive.
Oh my god! If I'm in traffic and somebody shakes their head at me,
Is this head shaking bullshit tied to your father?
It is. Oh, 100%.
Like, and like, so not
Deep
into
cut
you, or
for
just
you
like
guys.
you can't be like.
I'd
Is it like a commiserating head shaking or like a fuck you with your neck tattoo head shaking?
No, like a I'm shaking my head because you nearly hit me at the gas station pump and I'm disapproving, shaking my head. It reminds me of my father.
Disappointment and like you just you're not up to snuff.
I'd prefer you wave a gun at me because that's how fucking much I hate
You've
a head
heard it
shake.
out there, people. Wave guns at Patrick Hitler.
That's how much I hate a head shake. So my point is that
The question mark triggers you.
the question mark triggers me, even though I know you. I know
you know
your
my
tone,
tone.
but like that's so. Like when we talk about tone,
You just spend too much time in text with me where I am very confrontational in tone. That just is a full
and then
failing.
you get like the 5 minutes. Hey, I'm sorry, I haven't eaten yet today. Or like,
well, because I'm like, man, these motherfuckers. I just am all out right away. I don't want, and it's different than everyone.
like there was some dude on Twitter that I saw Bob interacting with that was kind of like questioning Bob's like knowledge.
Oh, I hit him with a.
And I was like, yo, fuck you, man.
You
like,
know what, though?
You don't know about fucking this bullshit. And Bob was like, boom.
That guy was funny though because then he was like,
all right, sure.
yeah, he was like, I just wanted to see if you'd get into it. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
well, and you know what?
Bob
so
was
we
like,
get,
I know what track 8 is off this fucking weird comp on Burger Record, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck it was. And it was like, dude, like, you're not going to win.
yeah,
You're not going to win.
but you know what it is that it's language is amazing. I wish everyone would think about it like this. We could say international hardcore, and that means so much. That people are like, "Oh, you guys don't talk about European hardcore enough," and I'm like, "What European hardcore are you talking about? What do you want?" Like my version is different than yours version is different than that version, and like
We
the
mentioned
person
Liar.
in question, I know, Jesus.
8,000.
We
We talk
talk
about fucking sportswear. We talk about the flex.
yeah,
we
we talk
talk about
about
arms
lots of
race.
stuff.
I'll say this though. I could actually, if anybody cares to educate me on South American hardcore,
Oh, okay.
I'll listen
Yeah.
because when I was a kid, the South American hardcore that MRR and Heart Attack were pumping was bad. And I don't care what anybody says, it was bad. And
there's you know what, my feeling is the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple standouts.
Okay.
But there's not a lot. Like, what is it, Rados de
They put out.
yeah.
That's the only one I know.
That's the one that is the standout to me. But there was a lot of it that felt strangely like speculatory, like the way somebody would be like, come look at this monkey in the zoo. And, I feel fucking weird when that is.
That was MRR's deal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's a way a lot of people are like, I like this because it's a thing, and it's so weird that it's a thing there. It's like,
look,
that's
he's
weird.
singing in Spanish, and it's like, I'm gonna need more from you
Miss
here.
me with that.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be good.
Like some people will be like, oh, talk to me about Australian hardcore. My closest interactions with Australian hardcore, let's see, Miles Away, 50 Lions, some of the more modern stuff. But there's newer stuff than that. And I'm like, I just haven't gleaned it. And there's older stuff that when I was 17, really digging into it. If you want to talk to me about the Exclaim demo, I'll talk to you about that all day.
Well, and there was a...
Toe to toe.
No,
that's an old.
There was like a power violence Australia band that wasn't bad from maybe
more like 5 or 6 years ago.
I was gonna say,
yeah, it's really good.
But it's few and far between. Excruciation or something like what is that?
That sounds right. But there's a few. But that's the thing, is that a lot of things. What you said earlier was interesting, and it's something I hope everyone acknowledges, young and old, is that you might know one world, and you might know two worlds. And you might know 4. Be aware there's an existence of 20 or 30 or fucking 40. And they're micro scenes and this and that. And you can try to be versed in all of them. I don't know that I've ever tried to. I've tried to be aware. More than being aware, I've tried to acknowledge, like, shit exists that I don't know about. That's your first step to normal humandom, is to realize, like, there's a lot of shit that doesn't exist, that does exist, that I don't know. It's just off
my fucking radar, sure.
And that's okay. And some of it you hear and go, nah. Some of it you hear and you go, oh shit, that tickles me. Let me explore.
I mean, also, we should just be honest. When people advocate for their local scenes, you're often advocating for things that you have an affection for because you saw, but objectively are unimpressive. You know what I mean? So that's the thing to remember. Like, it doesn't mean that you're wrong to enjoy your middle of the road nonsense. It just means that, like, it's your middle of the road nonsense.
It's been a very dark episode.
You got some things out. I felt like it was clear. I think lean into some of that, but acknowledge, like, I've said it before, I could talk about these bands that I'm super passionate about, that I love. I know they don't mean a goddamn pickle to anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's and I like the when it is like, hey man, you don't talk enough about this. Hip us to some stuff, and people do.
Yeah,
people send us links,
and
that's fucking fantastic. That's exactly what we want this to be. It's not supposed to be like some fun. Like, I can name you some fucking Brooklyn bands that I saw when I was 16 that you would have no fucking idea about,
but they mean you.
Yeah, and I don't go like, you didn't talk about fucking Dark Side and Confusion when you talked about, like, okay.
See, you guys got to get out of the emails and deal with the people in the real world. Because the people...
Man goes on tour once.
Yeah, seriously, does a couple push-ups. Motherfucker, I'm working at a goddamn...
The people in the streets...
You're very careful. Tom's getting hot. You're going out the window.
I'll flip a table, man. I will fucking...
The people in the streets love us. You know what I mean?
No, it's more positive than not. But it's like, dude.
It's all love.
But, all right, we got anything else we want to talk about?
Oh, fuck yeah.
We got a lot
to talk about.
We're talking until pizza gets here. And then
pizza. We still got some time for pizza. All right, Tom, can you explain... Oh, wait. You're going to explain to something in 1 minute, but you said there was one standout artist that your band enjoyed, Street Sex.
Yeah, so I hate this name a whole lot. Like, I really just don't like this name, right? It's Street Sex, spelled like
S-E-C-T-S?
Yeah, yes, correct.
Like sect?
Yeah, yes. But it's... I don't know if
Another Chris Callahan band?
I don't know if it's meant to be said sex, because Street Sex, there's no way to say it...
Sects?
Right, it's hard.
It's still sex.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Avenue Bang.
I mean, actually, to be honest, all of our openers were ranged from like very, very strange and off-putting in a fun way to off-putting in a like drive the audience away sort of. So actually,
is this what you've been told because you didn't actually watch any of them? Or?
So fun fact. I don't watch anything, but I do listen to everything through the hallway door.
And did you bring Tom and me shirts?
I did not.
Yeah, I
did not.
And I almost messaged Benny.
You should have. Yeah, much better.
We talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like when you first posted it, like
recurring
5 months ago.
You do know I'm a busy guy. Go on.
Are you guys
busy guy?
Are you? Do you consider yourselves the leader of the fringe scene?
Works a half an hour a day.
Oh, you know what?
Busy.
I'll be honest. If we're not, I'd like to see who is. You know what I mean? We are. Oh, this is fascinating. I got asked.
His definition of fascinating is pretty cool.
It's anything having to do with me.
Here's just fascinating. Someone talk to me.
Anyone who likes the Patrick content, there was a podcast called Self-Obsessed.
Yes.
Where it was just him talking for 30 minutes, which I believe when I spoke to him after not talking for a while, I was like, I listened, it was cool. I feel weird listening to it because you're my friend, so I can't have a 30-minute conversation where you just talk at me. It was weird.
Yeah,
And
no.
he said, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, it was weird seeing him play after doing the podcast for all that long.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I've known you for 20 years probably
but
now
you've
at this
seen
point.
my band 11 times.
No, more than that.
Yeah?
Yeah, but
Okay.
but it's just weird because, I don't know, maybe not.
He's supportive. Go on.
I supported you.
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
liked your band.
You are very supportive. That's true.
I like your band. Bands. It was just weird, though. It's kind of like watching, like even listening to Wrestling Cinema. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is kind of weird because this is like my band with a different singer,
Yeah.
which I've experienced way too often, more than I'd like to admit. But it was kind of weird to be like, oh, look, that's Patrick. And it's like, it was like a different Patrick.
You were waiting for him to start talking to you on the stage, like
No, but he was very like, it was a different kind of guy. You were really funny. You were murdering it.
Not
You were
funny.
laughing.
Very different than usual.
No. But like, I feel like you were very like, you guys keep coming back, and I don't get any better. And it was like it was really
you're
funny.
self-deprecating,
You
you're
had the
supposed to.
crowd.
I mean,
palm of your hand.
it goes one way or the other. But
Yes.
But he did not mention the podcast once. He's used this podcast to promote his bands so many fucking times. Dude did not be like, yo, check us out on Instagram. Never. And I said that was part of the fucking deal. He played for fucking 40 minutes, didn't mention it once, kept his goddamn shirt on, looked at me, but didn't say anything.
I want to thank everybody for joining us on Axe to Grind. Please check Tom and I's new podcast.
We like hardcore.
Look,
Cash Money.
I've got people asking me about keeping my shirt on, which is bizarre. But I have had.
Is that why you're recording the shirt?
If you must know, I had an armpit rash that made me insecure. So for people at home,
That was a good look that you kept your shirt on. I thought it was like in response to people
in
giving
response
you shit.
to armpit rash.
As you
rash.
guys might not know, if you prick him, he will bleed. If you rash him, he will
It's
be
true.
insecure.
It's
Wear a
You
rash
know?
guard.
So, what the fuck are we talking about?
This is fascinating. You've been told.
Fascinating. I was asked. I'm doing press for the record
Yes.
that comes out in a week and a half. That
If you don't mention fucking Instagram on one of these goddamn
do
interviews.
you think of yourself as a role model now? Which means that I'm officially so fucking old that people like. How bizarre a question is that?
We're doing this shirt is going to be the Charles Barkley I'm not a role model with your face just photoshopped, but we're not going to use the photos from that Charles Barkley ad, that one. It's going to be the Charles Barkley ad campaign where he's fighting Godzilla.
No, let's make it really confusing and do it the little penny.
Oh yeah, there we go.
If we're doing that, I want the Allen Iverson practice.
Oh,
we're talking
yeah,
about
we got
fucking
that. All right,
practice
we
because that's
got
what I feel like I just had my.
You did. You got
like,
your yeah. You had
research.
it. I know.
We're talking about fucking research.
I know. That was good.
So does that mean that I'm a daddy finally? Is that what's going on?
No, but you might be soon.
No, I
knows?
hope not. But I got this gray hair. Is it like I just thought it was such like an interesting question because like I'm still touring, playing in front of 100 people. It's not
How much
like,
better would Happy Daddy's Day be? It'd be a much better holiday. Just very sexual.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure. Oh,
all right.
God, yeah.
So on to new shit.
A role model.
Tom,
Yes.
can you explain Alex Leahy, an artist who I'm seeing a lot of talk about but have no familiarity?
I feel like
do you
I was
have any
early in on
familiarity?
it.
No, I made the same mistake that I think you did, where
Yes.
I just thought this was a dude with a guitar. In
Billie
fact-
Holiday. Oh, I love him.
Yeah, right. That sort of thing. That sort of thing. I have no familiarity with this. This is a young woman with a guitar. Then
Correct.
Okay.
Well, the funny thing was when I first heard the name, I confused her. There was a famous like soccer player named
Alex
Leahy, wasn't it? Alexei.
That's
Lawless. Alexi Lawless.
but that's a
That's
very
who I
different
can
name.
But he was also in a band.
Oh, is that right?
So when I saw the name, I
Interesting.
automatically assumed
Alexi Lawless. Yo, that's the name of our new podcast.
Yeah. So
Soccer, hardcore adjacent material.
and I ended up seeing. I had known nothing about soccer.
No,
Same. We're good. Let's go.
I've been to a Red Bulls game or three. So then I checked out her record, and it's really fantastic. It's a poppy rock kind of punk record, kind of dark lyrically. Really, really catchy. I'm a sucker for a catchy chorus, and she writes a ton of them. and I just saw her.
Where was that? That was
Brooklyn Steel.
Oh, big room.
okay.
Opening for Jimmy Eat World.
Oh, okay.
Killed
right,
it.
right.
Killed. And her next show she's playing Bowery Ballroom. So I think she's kind of
Leveling
moving up it's a really catchy record.
So here's my question:
Yeah.
Is Jimmy Eat World a band now that bands can go out with?
Yes.
Who their fans will like check it out. and be like,
Absolutely.
Oh, check it out. I don't know.
That's my question.
there was-
like they're
I
not
mean-
Slayer. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
people are
And
checking it.
Alex Leahy actually made a point to be like, it's so cool to be out with Jimmy Eat World because like their fans actually just like music.
Yeah, okay.
And I think to go see them now, they've kind of lost like hey, I like the middle. And
Yeah,
I like,
yeah. Uh-huh.
So it's like, I mean, they sold out 2 nights of fucking,
But it's fans.
It's fans
that like
they're-
the band,
right.
like
And there might have been people who migrated in through the hits,
Sure.
but that have clinged on and are like, no, I'm
right.
I'm
I mean,
an
they
out
sold
fan.
out that place. It's like 2,000 cap, 2 nights in a row,
big room, yeah.
on like a Wednesday and a Thursday.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which is down from stadiums, but still hella impressive.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, they still
absolutely.
draw and they still, but yeah, I mean, she did really, really well. People seem to really, really enjoy it. It's really catchy. I highly recommend checking out the record's
you
called "I
think-
Love You Like a Brother."
I Love You Like a Brother. That's the one to check out too. You think?
That's her LP, but
Very good name.
I agree.
it's a love song to her brother.
Oh, really?
She has a twin brother,
Oh, that's interesting.
and it's whole like you don't like
interesting.
sports. I don't like dresses. Our parents got the message. It's really clever and fun.
Oh, good lyrics too.
Yeah.
Actually, Oh.
Quick aside, I just want to say that the original singer for Silkworm, everybody should look this up. He pops up, I think his name's R.L. Phelps. He pops up every once in a while with like a band and will do a tour and then disappear again into the Pacific Northwest or wherever the fuck he is. But there's this video of him performing a song for his sister who died, and it is the most upsetting thing I've ever seen, because just imagine a guy with a guitar playing with a very bad voice that is almost, it's like an endurance test to make it through the entire song.
Really?
And I urge everybody to check it out.
broken about it.
Oh my god. It's rare that somebody can lyrics can convey sadness,
Yes.
but it's rare that a performance can telegraph it perfectly to you. And
Well, having it actualized in a performance setting.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
really
yeah.
Something.
So listen to that, and then listen to Alex Leahy
Yeah,
afterwards.
there you go.
And it's really catchy. I really enjoy it.
okay. What else we got?
Speaking about videos of guys from the West Coast, are we going to talk about that?
yes.
What? Oh my goodness.
Was that next on the
It's
on
next.
the old queue?
my
Next,
goodness.
it's next kind of. I'm gonna swing that down to the bottom.
I'm gonna play good cop.
You want? Okay. You want to play good bad cop?
I didn't watch the video, but I watched
You can play bad
bit
cop.
of it. Yeah.
Play bad cop. Count Catastrophic, aka Isaac from X Chorus X. New Age Records, but the logo's wacky, so I don't know if there's some weird distancing from the actual New Age hardcore records.
Is
Count
this thing
Catastrophic
coming out on
video.
New-
That's what the
Hartsfield's putting
that's
that?
what the video looked like. It
Wow.
showed a New Age Records logo.
Will he
Count
be-
Catastrophic. It's a hip hop rap project.
It's okay. This doesn't sound like good cop. It's
Well,
it's
you're not going into the bit yet.
it's a
We're gonna
middle
go
age
in.
breakdown, but go on.
Okay, so it's the video's out there. I don't know what the name of it is. I sent it over to the chat. Let's find it. But good cop is Patrick. Bad cop is Tom. Count Catastrophic. Is this cool?
I'm
There you go. Thank you. Good night.
You're too embedded in the system.
I'll be honest. He's right. I can't debate it.
Go good cop, come
okay,
on.
good cop. Good cop.
In the bed.
I think it is commendable and perhaps aspirational that a man of Isaac's age, who is over 40, is still expanding his musical horizons, in this case to include hip hop.
And to that, I say, shut the fuck up.
I think that I'm excited for him to continue to express himself.
You can't even see with a straight face, you fuck.
Look,
Do you need me to be good cop?
no.
He's struggling, man. You can't be a fucking. I mean,
All right, I'll be good cop, and you both can be bad cop. Ready?
Okay, this sucks a dick.
Good cop. Look, we talk about this all the time. This dude's expanding his horizons. He's trying to be.
He started laughing as he
I was
said
in the
it.
other room getting ready for vegan pizza delivery. He's expanding his horizons. He's trying things that we have looked at other artists and gone, oh, that's cool. They're brave. They're trying new things. We're talking about this with SoundCloud rap. How is this different than when the dude from Tiger's Jaw went and did Wicca Face?
Because he's like 5 years away from retirement.
Doesn't matter. We're getting really weird about age on this show. That sucks.
I'm gonna.
I mean, there's such a thing as called being like aging gracefully. It just feels weird. I don't know.
Okay, I see both sides. However,
No, you got to be a fucking bad cop. Come on,
this
dude.
is
Get
aging.
in.
This is
Go bad
aging.
cop.
This is aging disgracefully, and is not.
I think that's just subjective. I think perhaps what he's doing has a larger audience than we think. And if we're going to go on numbers, which we often do, this kind of stuff does hella better numbers than any of the guitar music we fucking blow up all the time.
That's fair.
Can't wait to see the streams.
That's fair. I would say this would be.
I'm going to look it up right now and see how many people have watched this on YouTube.
It's brand new, so we're not going to.
No.
I would say this would be akin.
I like Bad Cop Tom so much.
Madball put up like a video like 2 days ago, like 15,000 people watched it. Right?
Okay.
I'm going to say that this would be akin to your corrections officer uncle starting a dubstep act.
Is that Rick Ross? It's Rick Ross music.
Is that bad though? Like, are you going to be mad at him? He's just trying to express
You know
himself.
what? I'm not mad at him, and I'm happy for any success that he has. That said, I don't think the world, nor myself, nor the bandwidth of the World Wide Web asked for this, nor needs it.
Count Catastrophic probably is bigger than all those things you're talking about. I mean, are they asking for it? But who's asking for new music anyways?
Well, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe we got enough. But maybe, just maybe, Count Catastrophic's that new shit that we're all waiting for.
That's me.
Like, I think maybe he's trying stuff that's, breaking new ground. As he did in Amendment 18, as he did in Chorus.
Okay,
he is breaking
now
ground.
I feel like we've definitely lost the plot.
All right, so
I'm the good
747 views.
Which, and scale, let's go.
Not bad.
Yeah, scale, he's probably, that's
4 thumbs up, 3 thumbs down, which is not a good ratio.
It's better than I expected.
Okay. Official video for Made the Devil Do It from the multi-platinum selling debut. This sounds like a psychotic break. Selling debut album by Count Catastrophic.
Multi-plat? Oh, it's just lying. He's just lying.
Yeah,
Okay.
Starring Michael Gavin Hartsfield.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Directed by Isaac Galoob and Evan Jacobs, New Age Records.
Okay, so this is 44-year-old men having a good time with a camcorder. I don't give a fuck. This is fine.
It could be a lot worse, right?
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like,
Could it?
I mean,
Wait till... Yo, I'm from Brooklyn and I grew up on this rap, and I'm not...
Not this rap.
No.
I'm going to say that, look, when you have a steady income and you just want to do some goofy shit...
Yeah, I mean, what's not to like?
I mean, I like fucking Whoop Whoop like the rest. I like that next guy.
You know what?
I mean, dude, you were in chorus, man.
I take it all back. That's too good.
Well, now you got a new opener when you go to California.
I mean, if he doesn't split my fucking skull open for fucking talking like this, I'm going to say that if 45-year-old men want to break out the fucking camcorder and have a good time, I'm not mad. You know what I mean? I'm not mad.
Yeah, but you got to have some kind of like...
Nah, because
Does
look,
he like see... Is it like... Does he see himself as a 45-year-old gentleman with a... You know what I mean?
look,
Like, is it like a little tongue-in-cheek?
okay, if I'm going to speculate,
I would hope so.
I don't. Okay, so my last thing, we talked about it on the podcast when this gentleman Isaac explained that he had a couple years of struggle, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I don't feel out of pocket talking like that because everybody struggles in this life, and it's cool when you can admit it.
Yeah,
And
sure.
so
I do get disappointed when you walk in without pizza every time, though.
It's over there.
Oh, it's here.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on him. I'm not shitting on him if he's. Look, I got a friend that I've done music with because he seemed like he was in a low place, and I was hoping that music would keep him from.
I remember you do a podcast with a guy that has depression, as you said, and told everyone.
Hippo motherfucker.
Yeah.
You do things sometimes. You keep people engaged because being engaged with a creative endeavor keeps them from being on a bridge. You know
Sure,
what I mean?
absolutely.
And if this is Hartsfeld reaching out to an old friend and
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, brother, let's put a video to that because it's gonna be fun," and you're doing some shit with your friend of fucking 30 years, and
Sure.
it keeps him from a ledge. God bless.
Here's your best good cop. Why weren't you there?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it
That
took
was
you a
good.
second.
That was well done.
Yeah, you know.
No disrespect. Do it. Do
No,
whatever
you
makes
know what?
feel happy.
Expression is good. Quality's
Yeah.
bad. But keep going. If this is what you're passionate about, fucking do it. Fine.
Yeah.
All right.
What else we got?
Let's just do two quick ones. I went to a show last night in New Jersey. Full speed ahead. Clap for going to the show, huh? Yeah,
Supporting the scene.
Yeah, no.
Asbury Park Brewery.
Not me.
Yeah, you were at a show last night.
I was. It was just one I was
I mean, you weren't at it. I mean, you supported yourself.
Full Speed Ahead stag party at the Asbury Park Brewery. Full Speed Ahead are basically local legends at the Shore in New Jersey. They were awesome, great vibe, really cool. Mixed room, some young, some old. It was cool. Stag parties, new records, great. They're my friends, so biases are there.
Yeah,
but
we talked about it on the new music.
We did. Go listen to that if you didn't.
Yeah.
But Full Speed Ahead, have you ever even heard them?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, you know,
of course.
you're familiar.
Absolutely.
They're great. I don't know if they're fast punk, hardcore, kind of in the Black Flag, kind of meets late '80s vein, and yeah, it's great. But what they made me think of is all the conversations we have about local phenomenon and how that works. So, what's our feelings? Are local phenomenon bands great?
Great.
Yeah,
Great. Yeah, we're all in.
Yeah.
Great. I used to hate them. I used to think that they were like okay, because Albany had like a
bunch.
dearth or a
Oh, and I had
lot.
a great One King Down story last night that we're going to share at some point
Okay.
soon.
Oh.
But they toured. I'm talking about
Yeah,
like
it's a tour story. For
okay, because Albany had 3 that I can think of acts that saw no
Outside the 518 area code.
saw no purpose to touring. Like maybe tried it once and said, if we can bring out 300 people,
Are we talking Section
home.
8?
Section 8.
Politics of Contraband?
no, that's
Clay
a different,
people?
That's a different
Straight
scene.
Jacket?
Straight Jacket certainly.
Okay.
Straight Jacket. I don't know if they ever toured.
Haven't heard.
What's the band with the...
But Down Foundation certainly, Endicott
Okay.
certainly.
Endicott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Endicott used to bring out big crowds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Down Foundation, was that...
that was Tony, if you remember Tony.
Yeah, of course, of course.
What
What was the band that sounded like Youth of Today? In This Together? Was there a band called In This Together? I feel like we played QE2 with Warzone and this band, and like the dude did the best Ray Capital
Oh,
impersonation
no,
I've
I don't
ever seen in
know.
my life.
I don't know.
It might have been In This Together.
The after Down Foundation was Once and For All.
Okay.
And all of those bands decided to stay home more than travel. And they brought out people. People had fun at their shows. As a result, there's kind of no legacy, but not everybody's doing everything for a legacy,
No.
and that's fine.
I think most people don't do anything for legacy. It just happens that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't think of any. You know what I mean? Like, I
no,
don't,
but I will say that I am always amazed when I look at because I spend too much time on Discogs, and when I find somebody who has one credit, I'm always amazed. Because that to me is so outside of the way that I've lived. Like,
yeah.
the idea.
I mean, there's a happy medium between the one credit and you with the 700.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, like you only did that once.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was good enough for you.
Right? Because
really,
it's very fulfilling.
But
Yeah.
that's the thing. So for some people, it's just one and done. I feel good.
I mean, I get the whole
it's
like
weird.
hometown advantage. It's like, all right, I can play in front of 400 kids that are losing their minds, and again, drive for 4 hours and play in front of 20 kids. I'll stay in at 400. I don't.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But to kind of be like, we recorded this record, and like I get my friends listen to it and like it, like, and then that's it.
Right.
And then gone.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, same. But I do think that as much as I used to hate it, I now have an appreciation for local shit, and do think it's cool when it is good.
Yes.
And that's kind of the. It's kind of the
And local phenomenon can go from it's really good objectively, but they just didn't do the work to get out there.
Yep.
And it can also be very often
Time and place kind of thing.
this isn't very good, but man, people used to go crazy.
Yeah.
Or locally, there's a lot of nostalgia and feeling for it. So when they play, it's still cool, even though you might not go catch yourself listening
Sure.
to it very often. So both are cool.
Yeah.
Full Speed Ahead, I think, falls into the objectively good category, and we'll talk about it.
Asbury Park, that brewery that Swank is doing
There's a
shows
bunch
at
of
is
people.
really fucking cool.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
He's
of
got
people.
the first Beach Rats
Beach Rats.
up
Up against the Blind Justice record release.
same fucking day.
Same day.
That could
Bad
be-
move.
that could-
Stupid. Worst
that
move.
Could
So
have been
bad.
planned better.
Whose fault is that?
A lot of parties. And it's not
sucks.
good. It's really bad. Straight up bad.
Promoters hate talking to each other. I forgot.
It
On
was
this-
so bad.
On this tour, we played a show that
a
was
shame.
opposite 3 shows that had similar draws.
Is that bad?
And no, it was an East Coast show, but it was I try never to go in on a promoter because they're doing me a favor ultimately.
Sure,
It's, a lot of these places, like some places, we're doing fine business and it's a mutual relationship. Other places, you are taking a risk on me, and I appreciate you very much. So I never go in on a promoter, but I will say I do find it crazy that there's not more communication between local promoters.
And this was bad because if they figured out earlier a way to merge these two events, it could have been really big. Because it's Blind Justice, it's DTN Blind Justice. It's been Get a Grip from Arizona, a couple of Mind Force and Combust.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Good show.
And that's in Brick.
And it's in Brick.
Which is, for our listeners,
the capital of hardcore.
40 minutes, the capital of hardcore.
Sure.
Prove me wrong.
In New Jersey?
No,
or in general?
Prove me wrong. But anyways, if you threw Beach Rats on there...
Google search might do that. Go on.
In the middle...
Yeah, but I don't think they want to do that. I think it would be a good look for them. I don't know if they'd actually do that. They want to,
they're headlining their first show.
It's a dude from fucking Minor Threat and dude from Lifetime and Bouncing Souls.
Okay, hold on. Let's. I'm gonna go ultimate heel. Does a living person end up caring about this, or is this off 2.0?
I think people. Well, I mean, Off did well.
Off did well with a non-hardcore kid.
Right, which, I mean, there's a lot of them out there.
Right.
There's more people out there like that than not.
But if we're saying that, that's like being like Disturbed did great. You know what I mean? It's a different thing. Is my point. Is like Off was a pretend hardcore band for festival people. Is that what?
Sure.
Is that what Beach Rats is?
I'm curious.
What do we got? Is this the Rats?
Undertaker.
Oh, the Undertaker.
No,
I'm the ultimate heel.
Beach Rats have literally no music out there.
Okay. Oh, really?
They did the promo and the "We're coming" blah blah blah, and did not release a note.
And they're gonna play a show like that?
Yeah,
That's exciting. Actually, it's just
impressive.
It's daring.
It's just too bad that I don't anticipate it being great.
But I think it's going to be very well played. It's fucking Brian Baker and the dudes from the Soul. Like, they're all professionals.
Yeah.
I think that show will. I think that would hurt. Well, I don't know. I can't really say.
Here's the problem.
I think that one
both
hurts
shows.
nothing.
No, it hurts both
Really?
shows.
Dude,
because
you know how many
you're
people are just
losing-
going to go because it's fucking Ari from Lifetime?
Yep.
But old people that wouldn't go to the Blind
dudes from
Justice show.
No, but you also lose some of the middle of the roaders who are like, oh, Down to Nothing. Oh, I like them, or I used to like
Right.
them.
And let's
If
be
you get
realistic,
someone-
Blind Justice kids would probably go see
Would
the
have
dude from
gone
Minor
to
Threat
that.
plays.
Really?
Absolutely.
I
Those
would-
dudes are like
Absolutely.
I was at the first Off show
And
by
from-
accident, and I wish I'd.
But Off's a
left.
different beast. Off,
You know what I mean?
Really, Off is a slightly different beast because you're losing.
They're so
there's no
far
local
removed.
phenomenon. You got to remember there's local phenomenon with Bouncing Souls and Lifetime.
Okay, yeah.
And then like Brian Baker being in the band is more notable on a larger scale, but locally it's like, oh, really?
And he lives there now. Like, he's a
Oh,
shore
is that
guy
right?
now. Yeah.
He's a
but
shore guy.
He lives in
Interesting.
Asbury. Or
Interesting.
One of those.
The Blind Justice show is going to be the better of those two shows by far. Way, way better.
Is this another heel?
And it's unfortunate.
John Cena.
Oh, that's Cena.
John Cena sucks. John Cena
But the
sucks.
song is undeniably cool.
Well, now it's in a commercial for like some like car.
Geico?
That song, that literal song.
I don't
It just
know
sucks
any
that
of
they're
this
both
shit.
happening at the same time, and I think
I get mad about it with everything. Just that could have been done better, but it's just both shows will actually do really well. It's just it's like, oh, there'll be 150 to 200 people at each, and it could have been a 400-person show, which is a big difference.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Now Brick is what, half hour, 40 minutes,
Half
south?
hour from Asbury, yeah.
Okay,
And
that's a pretty big. That's a difference.
But it's what it is really just different scenes.
Yeah.
But it's just and that's the problem is that you're splitting the fringe on both.
Right.
And the fringe on both. If you could figure out how to coalesce the two, holy shit, that would be really
Yeah,
cool. So
it's a shame.
Really quick before we go eat some pizza, threw out a little poll: Revelation Records versus Victory Records.
Yep.
Revelation won 2-1.
Wow.
66% picked Rev, but we saw a lot of vocal Victory supporters.
I mean, honestly,
Those were all Tony Victory under fake.
yeah, that's possible.
Fake Twitter.
Pops sock puppet accounts. I'd
Burners.
flip a coin.
Well, so personal tastes.
Personal taste.
You probably lean Victory.
I have more of my formative / favorite on Victory.
And I think there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Now, the people make a mistake when they make this argument. They go, look at the first 20 Victory releases. They compared to Rev's. And it's like, bro, Rev's first record was Warzone. Victory's was Inner Strength.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're comparing Together Comp to
Only the Strong.
and like but there are people who will be no, only the strong comps are good. Yeah, they got some tracks, but like compare it to the way it is. You're hard. Now there's also people who, because of their entry point, are more into the metallic stuff. Victory probably has as many good records as Revelation. They've put out 3 to 5 times more.
Yeah. But okay.
And there's a certain point where canonical Victory people are like, oh, it doesn't count anymore. But
I'm going to say something.
Yeah, please.
That you'll agree with.
Okay.
You'll definitely not agree with it. I'm going to say Firestorm is as important as any Revelation release.
I think Bob might lean to that. I agree fully.
As important, not more important.
No. Important.
I think you can make an argument for the integrity material too.
No,
I can't say
it's
that.
influential.
Like, what's the most important Rev release? Would you say? Would you say Start Today?
Start Today, or Inside Out, or The Way It Is. All 3 of those are pretty big.
But Firestorm had
Start
as
Today
much
is
of
a
an impact.
pretty big record.
Oh no! Start Today. I might agree with.
Probably bigger than Firestorm.
The Inside Out record. I don't know if I do.
I don't know influence.
Yeah,
no
right.
importance.
It's tough right now.
Popularity record pretty
Sure.
big, but that's on the strength of Rage.
Right.
Yeah, they weren't.
So
big,
that's a different thing.
And I also think we got to be aware that we talked about some of these records before, and and their influence, and we always got to remember that, like, even though we have perspective, it's hard not to be a prisoner of the moment, as they
Absolutely.
say. And like, do we hear much Inside Out on anything right this minute?
I mean, do we hear much Gorilla Biscuits? Do we hear?
I hear no Gorilla Biscuits.
Exactly. Do we hear much? But it's hard to say. Like, no, Firestorm is as important as any Rev record. I won't deny that, or even disagree. I think that you could make the argument that Start Today is more
tough. Though. It's
right there.
Way.
No, because you bring in the politics and like literal belief,
active influence right now
like
too is the thing.
Well, and active influence in people's lives. There's not a lot of people who were like
who went vegetarian because of cats and dogs, as compared to who went vegan because of fucking
or who consider it an active influence. So that's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Victory's heyday is very concentrated.
Yeah.
Wow, they put out a lot of garbage that kind of
But I think their heyday was longer with less success, but it was just longer. Like Rev's heyday is probably 87 to 90.
Yeah, it's short.
Right, it ends with like the burn Inside Out.
It's shorter than we think.
Then there's 90 to 2000, 90 to 95, and there's people who ride for a lot of those things. But then you have like the Sensefields and the Far Side, which are huge. And Texas is the Reason.
And
a lot of little things. But there's
Texas
a lot of, and there's people Into Another. People don't remember how big Into Another was.
Yeah.
Quicksand, but Quicksand's still heyday.
Right, that was in
I
the
say
burn.
run through 21 or 22 is that's the heyday, but it's like to 90 or 91. Victories is probably
longer,
spread out,
but some garbage in there too.
Tons of garbage.
A ton.
Like for every fucking, for every in this Defiance, there was like Student Rick. Or whatever the fuck.
And tons of stuff. And now Victory also, we're going to do, this was really meant as a teaser.
Yeah.
Because we're going to do a real heavy deep dive on these, because I think this is kind of a sweet spot that we'd like.
Yeah.
That we can help hopefully expose people to some new shit, talk about some old classics, and also go, there was some real garbage on both.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So
can Victory do a 4-night Victory Fest like Rev could?
I don't think Rev could.
Rev did.
I know they did,
but
I don't think they should.
I mean, dude, they sold out.
Could is different than should. Could is yes, because they could do different themes, and I think they could have done it even better than they did.
Rev?
Yeah, because there was a few things that were missing.
Bands.
Yeah,
like Reunited.
They missed Judge. They missed Burn. Like there's a bunch that they missed, but Victory could do a really big one if they could figure it out.
They could do 2 nights.
No, imagine this. Imagine a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, No, let's just do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because we're old and we want it to be pleasant. 5 or 6 bands.
Sure. Give me the 3. Give me the headliners.
Earth Crisis.
Sure.
Integrity.
Okay.
Blood
Thursday.
for Blood. Thursday.
I would say Thursday.
Thursday. Snap.
Because Thursday could have their own day.
Yep. Thursday has their own day. Maybe Thursday's the Sunday that we kind of don't talk about. But there's enough that you could do it with the stuff that people who are more interested in, say, Axe to Grind than major shit.
I mean, they had bands that were playing sheds. Fucking Hawthorne Heights was enormous.
You could do 3 days of 6-band bills and
make it work.
And make it work.
Big.
Yeah. That
Don't forget
said,
that Blood for Blood was so goddamn
so
big.
big,
So
Dude,
big.
I toured with them. I know.
Yeah. So that's one question. We're going to talk about that more.
Deep dives.
We're going to do a deep dive on Rev, deep dive on Victory, and then compare the two probably.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's it'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people have been asking for a challenge. I actually have one for them, and I'm debuting it to you guys too.
Okay.
We've gotten this question a couple times. Dream lineup.
Oh shit.
Right.
Band lineup.
Dream band lineup.
Okay.
We struggle with it a little bit. I think we all kind of eventually came to like, I could do this. I got one.
Yeah.
Right. But some of it was a little pedestrian. It was both a difficult and simple question because it's like, what do you want me to do? So
I mean, second guitar is hard to fucking like. Who am I gonna fucking be like?
I mean, my answer was literally the Agnostic Front fucking lineup from the In Effect video.
Yo, you know what my lineup was I want Harley and Mackie, bass and drums. I want Capo on vocals. I want Richie on second guitar, and
You go throw Walter in there?
no, I wanted
A Melnick?
no. You know who I want?
Who?
Matt Henderson.
You can't go wrong. Well,
So-
I mean, that was yeah.
So, and I want it to be in 1980. I want it to be right after Break Down the Wall. Some shit goes down with Youth of Today.
They break up.
They
start
break
the
up,
supergroup.
but Harley and Mackie are like, yo, let's do this thing with this guy Capo, and Richie's there, and maybe Matt Henderson. I just threw him in, but I wanted some crunch. I want Harley writing those songs. I want it to be a blend of Age of Quarrel and New York stuff and punk influence, and a little bit of that energy off Break Down the Walls. The first 4 songs, and just to see how wild it is. I think that you get some weird spirituality because all those dudes got weird.
True.
Harley, Ray, Richie's into some weird shit. Just get them and have it be weird New York '89 and see what it is. But so that's what the challenge is for you guys as listeners. We've been asked this question a bunch. We'll throw it out on the social media shit. Give us your dream lineup. But you need to tell them what sound you want them to aim for.
Oh, see, that's tough.
But it's going to make sense. That's going to make sense.
Because I'm grabbing.
Because this is hypothetical. I said the reason this question is not super interesting is we had come up with the answer, and there's no fucking music, anyways, to talk about.
do we
or actually
do it
see
like
the
we
success.
did the fest, and everyone gets assigned a point value?
That's
you have
tough.
50.
That's too tough.
That's
Too tough.
tough.
I think that's dope.
Because then I'd like.
That's too tough.
Someone's gonna be mad that I was like, yeah, I'm only 5 points.
It's like in the Madden or NBA 2K ratings, players are always mad like, the fuck, I only got an 88.
Yeah.
I should have been a 93, motherfucker.
Right, I'm betting James Harden.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But so we want hit us on the socials, whatever, and we'll figure out some kind of little prize for you. I got some stuff. We got some swag. The mugs are coming for the Patreon listeners, so maybe we'll throw the winner of this one a mug, and if you're already getting it, you'll get something else. We'll make it cool. Because you asked for challenges. This is going to be it, and we'll read some of these and we'll kind of pick them over and talk about what we think would be cool or not.
Challenge accepted.
All right.
Is that all we got?
We got anything else?
I think we got some pizza to eat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you to Patreon subscribers, obviously, and also thank you to just anybody in earshot.
Thank you to Triple B.
Thank you to Triple B. Who just texted me asking me who I beef with in Exit Order. So obviously
He just
He
hit that
listens?
episode. Yeah.
he just hit that episode. Which, by the way, Exit Order, I don't actually know because I haven't checked. I haven't even checked to see if that.
You don't
did
This is the
that.
person
Yeah.
you threatened to put in a headlock.
No, well,
That you should have.
I should have.
And that's happening. It's on the agenda.
It's on the docket. If I see him, I'll definitely.
When
do
we
it.
go up
We
to
don't even
Boston,
know if
we're
it's the
doing
actual
it.
person.
No, to be honest, I heard that this person's in the band and haven't checked.
I think I got a dude in Boston I want to put in a headlock too. So
it's
we're good.
more fun. There's, multiple dudes in Boston that need headlocks tomorrow. But all right,
Yo, New York came to town one night.
so
Push came to shove, and Pat was down to fight.
I did a couple push-ups. Look at me.
ready.
Your testosterone is suited.
This was episode 21. Thank
Hit
you,
us
good
on
night.
at Axe to Grindcast.
On Twitter and axeogrindpodcast@gmail.com and Facebook. Hit us
Just
Axe
search
to Grind
Axe to Grind
Podcast.
Podcast.
We got a lot of shit going on there. One love.
Thanks.